Oh, you know what I love?
Sports.
Love sports.
Sports. When
It comes to Texas A&M.
Where are you getting this information?
Let me tell you.
Welcome to TexAgs.
It's here. It's time. There's always a buzz in the air when you hit this moment.
He is a guy that has gotten better and better and better. He's just got that dog in him.
We will develop men. We will graduate players, and we will win championships on the field.
I think of him as this hawk. Before long, he's going to be swooping in on those quarterbacks.
And they embody what the school is about. It's about getting into hard situations and getting ourselves out. It's about working hard. It's about doing amazing things.
And this is a real program. It's not fake. This is a real place. And if you want to be really good at football, this is a really good place to be.
You know, if I'm betting on anybody, it's the Aggies.
Typically, JK means joking or just joking, right? Or joking.
Just kidding.
But JK's gone. No more jokes about the pitching staff, which was pretty bad. Saw this note. Let me see if I find it right here. I don't have it right in front of me, but I'll find it. But basically, they gave up, I think it was 30 more home runs this year than they did last year.
61 in 2025, 90 this year.
Okay, so 29 more.
I believe that'd be 39 more.
39 more.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Yeah. I rarely celebrate's not the right word. Approve. Look, I don't ever find joy in someone losing their job. But sometimes, typically I don't worry about it so much in college coaching, especially football coach, because they make so much money. You know, the best job to have in America today is a fired college football coach. And I know the baseball coaches don't make as much money, but typically they make enough money to where, you know, they're in pretty good shape as they search. You know, it's not like they're living paycheck to paycheck. But if anybody's job was in jeopardy, it was him, because he's the coach of that pitching staff, and that pitching staff may have been the worst in recent memory.
Well, a couple things. As we said yesterday, I like to evaluate over time, not impulsive, but we knew it was trending in this direction. Now, calling for a college coach to be fired mid-season of a team that's supposed to be a top 8 national seed, to me, does not sound like good broadcasting and does not sound like good business for a baseball team. That being said, the season's over. You look at what they've done the last 2 years. Last year, their ERA was 4.3. This year, 5.24.
Yeah.
I think last year was underwhelming from a pitching staff that had some dudes.
Yeah.
And this year was a full run worse per game. The whip went from 1.27 to 1.41. More base runners, more traffic, a lot of stressful innings. Opponent's batting average, 273 this year. Home runs allowed, we mentioned the 29 more this year. So
39?
No, 29.
51 to 90?
61 to 90.
Oh, I thought you said 51.
Yeah,
my bad. I thought you said 51.
Yeah, all good.
It's still a ridiculous amount. Look, like you said, it was trending. It was trending like a barrel going over Niagara Falls. I mean, it was obvious.
And somebody on the boards brought up this name, and I hadn't made the connection until I saw it, but it's kind of true. We all knew Adazio was going to get fired a couple years ago. Like, we knew, right?
Right.
And maybe it should have been the year prior, but there are contracts. Let's see if they can figure it out.
He had health issues.
Right. So you're like, all right, let's see. I'm not saying that a coach can't get fired after a year. I'm not saying he has to be fired after 2 years. But the body of work would say A&M's, well, I don't want to say only issue. The reason they are not at a super regional this year is not just because the pitching was bad, because in an isolated weekend, the pitching was pretty good. At least the last 2 games. Or not the last 2 games. The last game, excuse me.
Yeah.
That being said, we all know if pitching is, I don't know, you change that number from 91 home runs or 90 home runs to 75, which is still significantly more. Are they maybe a top 8 seed in that situation? I mean, a lot of the games they lost, they got beat down.
Yeah. Yeah. I think, was it Brauninger? I heard somebody that knows baseball more than me, and they were saying, well, this one guy has a good pitch, but I think he was talking about Gavin Lyons, but never really developed a second pitch.
Mm-hmm.
Well, why not?
It's a development thing.
And isn't that what coaching's all about right there?
Now, Nick, I don't know if you were listening to the B Team. I heard part of their show this morning as I was getting ready. And did I hear, and maybe Cade's back there, or somebody can answer this, that some of the incoming commits hadn't heard from anybody in months or something like that?
I heard that too. I heard that too,
And from a pitching staff, I should say.
Right.
Yeah, from the pitching staff. I mean, they're putting together a great class, and I think they're going to have a really nice transfer portal. Jack Bell yesterday coming back, which was pretty big news.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
I would think that if I'm the pitching coach, and I see it every day, so I know my pitching staff is not good.
Mm-hmm.
And I've got guys that I've recruited that are going to be coming here, and I feel like they're really good, that they're the solution. I'm probably on the phone with them every week. I mean, how much time does it take to call them? Hey, just want to, within rules.
Touch points, yeah.
Just to make sure that, that they know we love you and we want you here, because I don't want you to stray under any circumstances.
Yeah.
Especially in today's climate of college sports. Like, they might be, I'm David Nuño from Alief High School, and I'm a heck of a pitcher, and I'm committed to A&M, maybe even signed, and I'm watching this catastrophe of pitching, and I'm thinking, maybe I don't want to go there. And I haven't heard from the coach in 2 months. If I'm the coach, I'm on the phone with you. Listen, David, I know things aren't going well with us right now, but I'm telling you, here's the issue. We're going to fix this, and you're the solution. Constant reassurance. I just can't understand that.
The bottom line is the pitching staff wasn't good enough, and Michael Earley has to change the trajectory of it, right? And I think this is his biggest offseason. You could say last year, right? I think this is his biggest offseason because I think year 3 determines the real trajectory of the Michael Earley era, in my opinion. Year 1, everybody got upset. And nobody would have been surprised had he lost his job last year after 1 year. It would have been premature. This year, I think he checked most of the boxes correct of things that we wanted to see get better. Okay, we wanted to see better fielding for the most part. I know there's some blunders this weekend, but for the most part, fielding was really good during the year. We wanted to see him get a better feel for the game. He absolutely had that. The team checked a lot of boxes that they did not the year prior. They did this year. Now you go into an offseason where you're changing your pitching coach. You have another assistant coach opening. You've got to replace first or second round talent, the top 3 dudes in your order, right? You've got to figure out your pitching staff. You've got to retain what you have. And in year 3, it's, to me, how you determine where this program is going.
I agree with all that. And quite frankly, if you have a massive step back, and hopefully they won't, A&M apparently got some good pitchers coming in, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there's always the transfer portal, and A&M finds a way. They brought in Hakopian last year and Aiden Sims. And so, do well in the transfer portal. And, maybe you have a good year in it. But if they take a massive step back, I think and I'm not calling for this, I'm being honest. I think the first thing you got to start thinking about is, reminding yourself just how long is Michael Earley's contract?
Well, but let's also be honest. Sitting here today, how much better do you feel today about the head coach of the A&M baseball team than you did a year ago today?
Better. I think that I didn't feel that badly like some did about Michael Earley last year. I saw that Grahovic missed almost all season, and I saw that Sorrell only played about half the year, and I saw that they got off to such a look. If they win 2 out of 3 against Missouri, I would have never had any questions about because I would have saw a team with all these injuries that was down and out after getting no hit by Tennessee come back. And I'm looking at a coach that that kept that team together and brought them back, and they made the playoff. And I don't care what they did in the playoff. He took that mess and made something of it. So it was just the Missouri game. So I'm like, the Missouri series, I'm like, okay, let's see what you got this year.
Yeah.
And I was very impressed this year. So I feel like, though, if you take a massive step back, then you're saying, well, in 3 years, again, this will be if they take a massive step back, you've underachieved perhaps in the mind of others, at least 2 of them, and some in 3. But the bottom line is, and you had injury issues again this year. You underachieved in 2, and you would have been disappointed in the 3rd one. And then you're saying, well, why is it going to get better?
Mm-hmm. I don't think I asked you this. I definitely asked Billy and Bronny. Did A&M baseball underachieve this year?
Well, again, I think that's when you're asked, right?
So today.
But as of today, I heard you talk about it. Was it Livingstone?
Maybe it was Livingstone. Maybe. Yeah.
I said, well, I think they achieved. And yeah, I'd say they achieved. If you're basing it on the fact that they were picked 13th, then they vastly overachieved. And that's amazing. But once, expectations, we said this, they change.
They do.
And
they should.
They should. And you get into look, here's the deal. I'm going to be guilty of this. I'm playing the if game. I hate it, but I'm going to do it anyway. If Aiden Sims is able to pitch without pain, I think they're going to beat USC. I say that, except in your bats.
USC plays so well.
Yeah, but your bats.
Yeah.
I mean, we can't always give everything. The same pitcher that gave up 5 runs to Southwest, Texas State. They're always going to be Southwest to me. And 3 days after throwing 89 pitches, is making all these guys that we're just talking about that are going to be high picks in the draft, making them look inept.
Mm-hmm.
So now I guess I was starting to say, if they don't have that injury at pitcher, I think they're still going to be playing.
Well, if they don't have that injury at pitcher, Hoover may look different. What else may look different? I don't know. You may win a couple series down the stretch.
Yeah.
I mean, you did win the Mississippi State one. Which was the one right before Mississippi State that they lost? Ole Miss, was it? Am I right about that?
That sounds right.
Yeah.
Which way? Ole Miss still playing, right?
Yeah.
There's a whole lot of teams still playing.
And a lot of SEC teams playing against each other.
And A&M's schedule was supposed to be so bad. That's why they were seeded 12th. Anyway. Another thing.
Hey, did you know that this is TexAgs Live?
Yeah. Did you know that it's brought to you by David Gardner Shoelers?
I did know that because I think I've said it 1,000 times.
Yeah, at least.
This year. And we are in the Rollo Insurance studio. Jason,
Jackson,
Keith, Morgan.
And all of them.
All the boys. We can include the girls, too.
And women, too.
Yeah, the ladies. And we are right now sitting in a place that we call the
Holistic Planning Cool Zone.
On a Guayavera Wednesday.
On Guayavera Wednesday. It's not a classic Guayavera, but it's close enough,
I
right?
mean, but you're a classic, 1950s superstar.
Well, maybe more, but just a classic 1950s guy.
And this is the Go Hour presented by The Warehouse at CC Creations. If you want to tell us how wrong we were or how right we were or whatever the heck you want to talk about, you can do that on the what?
Bapies.
I like the Bapies.
Buppies. Catering and bartending hotline.
That number is 979-693-1150. You can also text that number, the same exact information.
If you text it, it magically becomes the Catalyst Pure Performance Energy PPE text line.
The catalyst of this show is Nick Savage. He's behind the glass. He likes to talk about sports. Nick, good morning, sir.
I do like to do that. Good morning, y'all.
Hello.
You mentioned him briefly, but getting started early in the portal, right? Coach Earley already picked up his first commitment. Jack Bell returns to A&M. He was a freshman on the 2024 squad. Middle infielder, most likely. Who knows? This is Bronny's specialty, but maybe he moves to second base. Maybe he takes over at shortstop and Kellner moves. I don't know. But middle infielder with a lot of experience, fielded 948. So a good infielder and good to see him back in maroon and white.
I hope he can hit for average.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, everybody loves to hit home runs and see home runs and things like that. I'm really not that care about that as from a middle infielder. I loved Caden Kent and everything, but they need guys that can get on base in front of the big hitters.
Yeah.
There's a lot of solo home runs this year.
Good start to the portal. And we've got some commits to talk about. We got some other stuff. Yeah, so let's right now go to the Angry Elephant News and Social Center. Ashley Munson returning to the program.
Munson.
What's up, Munson?
Hi, guys. Good morning. How are you guys doing?
Hi, how are you?
I'm great.
Good.
Wednesday, halfway through the week, so.
Let's do it. What do you have for us this morning?
So I want to talk a little bit about football. So some news is the old ball coach, former South Carolina head coach Steve Spurrier and former Heisman Trophy winner, is officially a Hall of Famer. The winningest coach in Gamecocks football history was inducted into the South Carolina Athletic Hall of Fame as a part of the 2026 class Monday night in Columbia.
He's if I'm not mistaken, he's the winningest coach at South Carolina and the winningest coach at Florida.
And if I remember correctly,
he changed the SEC the way they play football.
You and Spurrier had a conversation. Was it about Marcel?
Yeah.
At his first start in Gainesville, I had 103-degree fever, so I didn't talk to him. I could have killed him. He's an older man. And so I just kind of stayed away from him. I could have given you the flu, but yeah, he was very kind about Marcel, right?
Well, he was impressed with Marcel. He says you can't win in college football today without a quarterback that can move and make plays off schedule by running and so forth. So, yeah, he was very impressed with Marcel. Who wouldn't have been that day?
Well, yeah, and that was Marcel's first ever start.
Yeah.
And it was just halftime at that point, which was a pretty good first half.
I've always admired Steve Spurrier. I think he's one of the greatest coaches ever. People don't realize just how mundane the Florida program was before he got there.
Yeah.
And then, I know he couldn't win championships at South Carolina. Who can? He's one of 3 national championship winning coaches that went to South Carolina and couldn't duplicate it there. But, they have like 3 consecutive 11-win seasons at South Carolina. And you know what was even more impressive? When he never celebrated a victory at halftime at South Carolina. He never was hyping up everybody to set up a disgusting. You talk about the trajectory of the barrel going over Niagara Falls. He was never in the barrel doing this as he was approaching the falls.
Yeah. Hey, Munson, do you have any Texas A&M recruiting information to share with us?
Yeah.
If not, I got it.
Yeah, so for one, I'm going to hopefully say his name right, but Frederick Ards III?
Yeah.
We'll say it like that. Yeah.
Yeah, Frederick Ards, defensive.
They had a big, 24, 36 hours. Frederick Ards III from Orlando, Florida.
But he was the first of the 3 commitments.
Yeah, we had Chance Archangel, class of 2028.
See, all right, I love this guy. I don't even know him. I just have an issue with his parents. You have that opportunity. Very few have the opportunity. Like, I was always upset with Logan Lee. Half Chinese guy has a son, and he doesn't name him Bruce, right?
Yeah.
Chance is a great name, don't get me wrong. But your last name's Archangel. Michael
Archangel.
Maybe he has an older brother named Michael.
He might. Let's see what you can do with this next name. Let's see.
I don't even know how. Valade?
Lola Valade. I'm just saying it like Italian guy again.
Lola Valade. Yeah, I'm going to have problems pronouncing his name until someone else, walks me through. One time, I had all kinds of problems with the old Alabama quarterback.
Which one?
The with the Hawaiian name.
Oh, I still don't say Tua
Tagovailoa.
Yeah, I just
until Gabe Bach sat down with me and said, "Repeat it this way over and over." I finally got it. Tua Tagovailoa. I'm going to have all kinds of problems with this name, but
what about Theo Mellon?
Theo Mellon Orstrom?
Yeah.
I think Theo Mellon. First, I thought you mean
Armage.
Armage, that was a classic name.
I had problems with a lot of names. I had problems with Rodney Thomas. Rodney. I have problems
I would
with
say
that.
Bucky Richardson.
Bucky Richardson. You know what? He probably should have adopted that. That sounds Bucky Richardson. Anyway, I just hope this kid. I'm sure you watched his highlight tape. Man, he's exciting. So hopefully he can bring that excitement. He says he's going to bring the dog to Texas A&M. I think we already got a dog, you know. Oh no, you mean the inner dog,
the DAWG,
and it looks like a greyhound.
Yeah. Let's hit a break, shall we?
Let's do.
1775.
Oh yeah.
All right, we're not going to be okay. We're just going to tell you I'm going to tell you some of their special. Okay.
Some of their special.
Yeah, stuff that we don't typically talk about because you're in love with the queso and you're in love
the succulent brisket.
You're in love with that, all right?
All of that stuff.
People get it. All right, they're like, yeah, it's the greatest. It's the dream team. It's the '92 dream team. All right, but I'm going to give you some other options.
Okay.
How about on Thursdays their famous brisket Philly?
Now I like Philly cheesesteaks and I like their brisket. So you take this marriage between that succulent brisket and a Philly cheesesteak, put it together. That may be a match made in heaven.
How about
or at least in my stomach.
Friday, Brazos spuds or perfectly smoked half chickens.
Okay, well, I like chicken. If it's perfectly smoked.
It's perfectly smoked. Yeah.
Okay, then
the smoking is perfect.
Then I'm going to love that. As far as the spuds, my wife went there with me one time, and she got this massive baked potato, and it was stuffed with chopped up succulent brisket, and she let me try it, and it was sensational.
I'll give you one more.
Okay.
Raspberry chipotle pork belly burnt ends.
Look.
That's a long name.
There's raspberry there. There's chipotle. Raspberry chipotle. I'm going to put that all in one.
Yeah, that's one.
There's pork belly.
That's one.
There's burnt ends.
Yeah.
Man.
Mix that up.
If that isn't a triple threat, that sounds 3 times as good as it should be.
979-492-6241 is the phone number. You can check out the website, 1775txbbq.com. It is 1775.
And it's good.
Hey everyone, David Nuño here of TexAgs Live. I want to introduce you to the team at Holistic Planning. Got Jason Barber here, Taylor Pankratz, and also Paul Meredith. Jason, I want to start off with you. What really sets Holistic Planning apart from the others?
Yeah, so what makes us different is most financial advisors stop at investment management. On the other hand, Holistic Planning, we manage investments, taxes, and estate planning all on one team, all underneath one roof.
Now, Taylor, when everything is coordinated like that, it really helps the bottom line, doesn't it?
It really does. When your investments and taxes are working together, you stop leaving money on the table and keep more of what's yours.
Paul, Holistic Planning is trying to expand as well.
That's true. We just opened our Houston office, and we're looking for people who feel like their advisor isn't seeing the full picture, because that's exactly what we fix.
And Jason, there's other opportunities beyond that.
Definitely. If you're a financial advisor and you want to join the Holistic Planning team, we're looking to add 50 teams in the next 5 to 10 years. So check out holisticplanning.com/advisors.
All right, so if you want a team that actually coordinates everything, go to holisticplanning.com. Aggies, this one is worth it. As a reminder, the final segment of the program is at 10:50, and that's brought to you by Double Days. But right now, caller number 12, 979-693-1150. We're going to hook you up with your choice of a dozen pepperoni rolls or a large one-topping pizza from Double Dave's. They've been serving Aggie Land since 1984 with your favorite pizza and, of course, those world-famous pepperoni rolls. Reliable in-house delivery, bringing piping hot goodness straight to your door. Just click on doubledaves.com, and your favorites are on their way. OB?
Yeah.
What do you think? Okay, today's the Senate hearings, right, with college sports, and Nick Saban, a player, and Nick Baca, whatever his name is from Notre Dame, is going to be there all testifying.
Bevacqua?
Yeah. And speaking about names I can't say.
Or Bevacqua?
Bevacqua.
It sounds like Bevacqua. Like the old
Pete
baseball
Bevacqua.
player, Kurt Bevacqua, but
Yeah.
it's not pronounced. It's like Bavacqua or something like that, but it's not Bevacqua.
So they're meeting all today. And it's a meeting to have a meeting, right? And
Right.
usually I go to a lot of meetings, but this meeting I didn't get invited to. What do you think the SEC and the Big Ten really want? Because they already released a statement saying this bill is incomplete, doesn't help us. All the other conferences want it. I'm usually going to side with the SEC and the Big Ten, right? Or at least the SEC, because I'm a homer when it comes to our conference. But what I don't want is for what is happening now to continue. I do want more structure. I like structure in my life. I'm sorry. I like my folds, my clothes folded a certain way. I like the show organizers. I like structure.
Are you like that guy on the movie Sleeping with the Enemy? You're gonna like.
I'm trying to remember. Is it Julia Roberts?
Is Elizabeth going to be in trouble if the towels aren't the same length?
The towels are definitely not the same length. But no, I don't get mad.
Hanging over the.
Didn't he used to beat her on the show?
Well, I don't think. Yeah, I think
I'm not
so.
a beater.
Okay, cool, good. You don't wear those white shirts.
No.
Okay, I don't know what the SEC and Big Ten want. I think they want what was.
They want rules for everybody else.
No, I think they want what was in the outline, but I think they don't want any government control. Or say they want them. All right, set these rules. We kind of like this. We kind of like that. The highlights.
Yeah.
Only one transfer. Only 5 years. Nobody with professional experience. I'm sure Alabama feels different about that. Well, they proved it. But so they want stuff like that and set a salary cap.
Yep.
But look, we all know if there's a salary cap, people are going to cheat. Oh, they want to say, well, but have rules if you're going to cheat and serious consequences. Yeah, you're going to take, dock 4 or 5 scholarships. Big deal.
Is there cheating going on in the NFL?
I don't know. I mean, their cheating in the NFL seems to be pretty minor. Like, oh, Tom Brady underinflated the football. So what? You know what? If you've got your guy covered, it doesn't matter what, how inflated the ball is, right? I mean, I'm sure there's a certain amount of tampering, but it's not a major issue like it is. I don't think so because
if you sign for $13 million, you're getting $13 million. If and I don't think NIL. I mean, maybe NIL's used a little bit if you think about you go to New York, you're apparently getting more advertisements, whatever. Yeah,
but you're also paying a heck of a lot more in taxes and real estate and all those.
Sure, but I understand that there are reasons people go to these big markets, but it's not like I don't think, maybe I'm wrong, Nike's flipping the bill for somebody to go to play for the Portland Trail Blazers.
No, but they do for the Oregon Ducks. Yeah. So has the SEC or Big Ten? You say they don't necessarily want. Have they actually said what they do want?
I don't think they have. Nick, if you can pull up, I don't know if you can get it, and maybe read us the statement from the SEC that came out yesterday. And was it a joint statement with the Big Ten? I believe they both had statements. It might have been a joint statement, but they released it. Go ahead.
But once again, this is what Mike Elko was talking about last week. We worry about what's good for us, not what's good for the game.
Mm-hmm.
And we put too much priority over me and not us. And so here we're talking about the NCAA in its infinite stupidity asked for Congress to fix their problems. Now, here's some congressmen and women, you can like them or not, but they came up with a plan. And right away, we're seeing 2 major conferences.
No,
apparently say, no, I don't like it. So, And then we complain that nothing can change.
And I'm going to have Nick read this here in a second. But here's the end of the day. Break up into 2 leagues. Yeah, se acabó el juego. The game's over, right? You do your SEC Big Ten thing. You make your own little rules that you guys, the haves, play with. You have this other league, the next level. And you know what? You can have some crossover games, fine. But your championship is between these 60 teams, and yours is between this. Yeah, and you got your rules. You got your rules.
Yeah,
it's over.
I think I like that idea, except what about all the other sports?
Well,
so they're going to say, hey, well, you can't be a part of March Madness.
Okay, we'll have April Madness, April showers. We're going to do it. We're going to do a tournament between these 60 teams.
Right. And that's what they'll do, and they'll say, fine. But the rest of the world, the rest of the nation is going to have a 70 whatever,
or
16. And
just break away in football only and keep conferences.
Well, I don't think the other conferences are going to buy into that.
Well,
but anyway.
But I think they need, I don't know. Nick, do you have that statement before?
Yeah, I do. It's about a 2.5 paragraph statement. I'll just read the first paragraph. The SEC put this out yesterday. The Big Ten Conference and the Southeastern Conference support a sustainable national framework for college sports, one with an effective transfer portal, clear eligibility standards, and protections and benefits for student athletes. While we appreciate the leadership of Senators Cruz and Cantwell in pursuing these shared goals, we do not support the Protect College Sports Act as drafted.
Ain't gonna happen.
Okay, and what we need to know is, what do you not support?
Does it have exact that in the second paragraph?
The bill leaves
Probably
critical
not.
issues unresolved. It does not meaningfully preempt the patchwork of state laws or provide the protections needed to make the enforce consistent rules.
I don't mind that statement.
I
at
don't
all.
either, but it's still, I think, a little like what state laws. I mean, I get it. In Missouri, you're going to have different laws regarding NIL and things like that than in Texas and so on and so forth. Okay, that would seem like a pretty easy thing.
Yeah.
It's like hey, you have federal law trumps state law.
Let's hit a break, shall we?
Yeah, let's do.
You seem like you're disappointed about that break.
I'm just frustrated with the whole, that whole issue.
Yeah, it's stupid. It's stupid. We've been talking about it since I've been here, and I know you guys were talking about it before. And coming up next, Boomer White. We're going to talk to Boomer on the phone. Boomer White on a mobile. We'll talk to Boomer on the other side. Right now, Milliken Reserve. When's the last time you climbed a tree?
Oh, gosh, it's
81?
It's been decades.
Before the 80s?
I might have climbed a tree. I climbed a tall fence just about 15 years ago after the Music City Bowl, but that's not a tree. It's a very tall fence. Gabe was there. He couldn't believe it. Quite frankly, I may have climbed a tree at some point in my early 20s.
Okay. Last time you flew a kite?
Well, that's probably like, I'd say Quinn is 22. That's probably somewhere 15 years ago or less, you're being dad.
Yeah. Last time you did evening yoga?
Well, I stopped doing P90X about,
15 years ago?
Yeah, so it's probably about 15 years ago that I stopped doing yoga.
Last time you went kayaking?
Oh, that wasn't that long ago.
Canoeing?
That wasn't that long ago.
Equestrian trails. When was the last time you did that?
We took a trip to Costa Rica, and we went on a horseback riding tour, which is everybody but my horse decided it wanted to lead.
Yeah.
So I looked like, John Wayne out there on the racehorse.
Well, it sounds like, OB, you're missing good times by not going to Milliken Reserve. Get a Conservancy membership and go do all that great stuff. Yeah. Or you can buy a house out there, too.
And ride the horses.
Ride the horses.
And kayak.
Ride that horsey train, yeah.
And canoe.
You name it.
Man, it sounds good.
20-minute life spot. MillikenReserve.com is the website. MillikenReserve.com.
I'm Wes Mangan, and I live on a piece of property with my wife and 2 boys and several animals. I work in oil and gas, and I travel a lot, and so when I come home, it's like my sanctuary. I get to see Lauren and the boys, and it's been just a perfect fit for us, and it's really improved our family time. And this is the first land I'd ever purchased, so dealing with the land side of things and dealing with Capital Farm Credit was super easy for us through the whole process. I definitely feel like with Capital Farm Credit, together we are better.
At Brazos Valley Floor and Design, the Morrow family has helped Bryan College Station homeowners remodel with confidence for over 25 years, backed by the Adore Your Floor guarantee.
When you're ready to update a kitchen, refresh a living room, or renovate the whole house, come see the latest in flooring, from designer carpet to laminate, luxury vinyl plank, hardwood, and tile.
We're 2 generations, hands-on from design to installation.
Brazos Valley Floor and Design, best floor and design since 1999.
And that's a promise.
And we are back here on TexAgs Live. We are presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. We're in the Rollo Insurance Studio. It is the Go Hour presented by the Warehouse at CC Creations. We are working on getting Boomer White on the program to just kind of reflect on the season that was Aggie baseball, the changes with Jason Kelly, the addition of Jack Bell, and what the future looks like for Michael Earley. So we'll chit-chat with him here momentarily. Let's, in the meantime, as we tap dance, go back to the Angry Elephant News and Social Center. Munson over here, nice kava, by the way. Who doesn't? Well, I don't know. Have you actually had it?
Yeah, like
Okay.
twice. I said, I don't really eat out, but
is
it's
kava a restaurant or is it a cuisine?
It's like a fast food restaurant.
It's like a Chipotle. Like you go in.
So you just call it kava.
Kava.
Yeah,
It's
kava.
not like saying I want to go eat Mediterranean. and Mediterranean can be at a lot of places. You only get Kava at Kava.
Yes.
Okay.
And you only get Boomer White on TexAgs Live, or unless he goes on another show. But hopefully it's just with us. We go to the Buppy's Catering and Bartending Hotline. Our good friend Boomer White. What's up, man?
Hey guys, that's a good segue. I'm excited to chat. Thanks for having me on.
Well, thank you for joining us. Hey, I guess we start off with the breaking news from yesterday, and then we'll kind of work our way back at the season it was. But just your reaction when you heard that Jason Kelly's contract would not be renewed.
You know, I think like most Aggie baseball fans, we're not surprised. I think it was just from the get-go a tough year on the mound, both injuries, starting pitching numbers, bullpen numbers. It just seemed like we were always chasing from an offensive standpoint. And so there's a lot of different reasons you could point to as to why that was. But I think ultimately when you just put up those kind of numbers and you're investing that kind of money in this team and resources and facilities, that you have to find a better solution. And so I think that starts with the pitching coach in this scenario. Not surprised, but just unfortunate for coach.
Well, do we want to keep? Do we want to start talking about what happened now, or in the season? Do we want to go back?
Maybe I'll just do another follow-up to the whole Jason Kelly thing. Look, man, to me, there are multiple things that happened this past weekend that is why A&M did not move on. But the pitching has been such a problem the last couple of years, even with the staff that we had the year prior, with some names that we had seen play at the highest level, inning away from a national championship. Do you think it's a development thing, Boomer, or is it a talent thing? What do you think, like when it boils down to beyond the injuries, what happened with this pitching staff the last two seasons?
That's a good question. And I think that's usually the first thing I've been looking to is, like, what is the problem here? And it could certainly, there could be aspects of this that are development problems, that Coach Kelly did not develop these players to where they needed to be. They didn't improve. They didn't pitch, the right way to whatever form they're supposed to pitch to, whether that be, more off speed, less off speed, locating better, blah, blah, blah. But ultimately what I keep looking to, guys, and I'm happy to talk, this has kind of been my talking point over the last week for anyone that has listened or would listen, is I just don't know if I can ever recall a pitching staff that was wheeling out less quote unquote talent or quote unquote stuff out of the arms of these pitchers, bullpen starters all together at Texas A&M, and I could even say in the SEC. It was quite mind-boggling when you looked at the arms that were facing our hitters, and the stuff, the velocity, the curveballs, the spin rates, whatever it was, versus what we were putting out there. And I don't think Coach Kelly is just going to make all these guys throw 95, 96 miles an hour with a nasty breaker. So some of that has to be recruiting, and just didn't get the talent there. Injuries certainly played a role. But I also think that, like, there's just an aspect to this that we didn't have the guys that most everyone else in the conference had. And I think I'm putting it really lightly.
Good point.
All right, so who's responsible? I know everybody says, well, it always goes to the top, but who's trying to recruit those guys, and why can't you get them to Texas A&M, which has a proud history of having strong pitching?
Yeah, but Boomer, I was listening to the B team guys last year. It's been a few years, even during the prior regime, of like real dudes. Just compared to a team ERA, I think the stat was before 21, they had 5 to 6 straight years of 3.5 ERAs, and the last 6 years has been closer to 4.5.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, it sure has felt that way. And Olin, to your question, I think it's a combination of Coach Earley and Coach Kelly. I don't know who's mainly making those decisions, who's identifying the pitching talent. I would certainly lean to that being the pitching coach. But if a lot of this is recruiting, it certainly falls on the CEO to an extent. But I think it certainly it starts with the pitching coach as far as, like, this is his role. But David, to your point, I go back to, early I would go, back to 2010 all the way to 2018-19. It certainly has felt like that was a run where there were some electric arms, maybe 5 to 7 coming out of the bullpen that had really good stuff if they were on. And I look at the Texas series, I look at Mississippi State, I look at Florida, and things that stood out to me were there were 5, maybe 6, 7 guys in a row that those teams rolled out that had a fastball in the 94 to 99 range, maybe 100. And Texas A&M did not have one. There was not one arm that came out there that if they missed a location, they could rely on a fastball that had some extra velocity or just could keep leaning on a nasty breaker. Even Clayton Freshcorn, the stuff isn't that great. He locates extremely well. He knows how to pitch, but there's no one that you can just say, well, if he's off, at least we know he has this kind of stuff. And I think at some point you cannot rely on guys to be like Greg Maddux. You need some guys with really good stuff to get you through these long games, long innings, or long series and regionals. And it was far and beyond lopsided toward teams that we played on the mound than what Texas A&M was rolling out there.
Well, since you brought up Freshcorn, he did pitch well enough to give A&M a chance to win that game that would have got them to a super regional. But the hitting, especially from your main guys, just wasn't there. What do you make of that? Look, we all know that the hardest thing to do in sports is to take the round ball and hit it squarely, right? It's a 30% success rate is considered excellent. All that said, because of that, do you just remove any culpability from the guys that you count on to lead your offense?
No, you don't. No, and I think that I take that stance firmly that in the biggest moments you want your biggest guys to step up. That was one of the problems I had back with Chase Laviolette, is I just felt like the big moment he didn't really want it or he didn't rise to it. I think that certainly the offense had a chance to go steal momentum on Monday and go jump out to an early lead and give Freshcorn some breathing room and all that, and they did not. They didn't do it on Sunday either. And I think that is frustrating to see you do it all year, and then in the biggest moments, they're not there. But at the same time, what I see is like it's baseball and it's sports and it's hard to do. And so at some point you are going to have these moments. You can't just lean your entire season on your offense. And when they don't show up, be like, well, the offense didn't show up on that game. Like, they certainly rescued so many wins out of the pitcher's arms. And so I think that's just going to happen, but it is frustrating that it happens in these two games. And so I think you have to look to the offense there. They didn't take advantage of an opportunity, but that's just naturally going to happen. And when you put yourself in that situation behind the 8 ball with these kind of arms, that often, that's just what you get.
Boomer, we've got about a minute here. How important, and I know the answer is very important, but how important is this offseason for Coach Earley and the trajectory of this program?
Yeah, it's very important. He's proven he can be a tremendous hitting coach. He can turn an offense around. He's one of the best hitting minds in all of college baseball, maybe all of the sports. So you have that there. He needs to go get a good pitching coach. When he gets the pitching coach, he needs to bring arms with that pitching coach. And he needs to go get a couple of really good bats. I think 2 really good bats and 3 really good arms need to have a big role in next season, or it could be a tough one.
Boomer, man, I appreciate it, brother. Let's talk when they get some more traction there in this portal.
That sounds great. Thanks for having me, guys. Have a good day.
Thank you. Boomer White there on the Buppy's Catering and Bartending Hotline. Appreciate his time. Let's talk a little Rollo Insurance. They build lasting relationships through education, helping you understand what you're buying and the why behind it with expertise in just about everything: home, auto, business, ranch, specialty coverage. Their independent agents provide options tailored to your specific needs. You'll get their cell phone number. They're going to take great care of you. You'll be able to call them in any kind of situation. They have an educational approach which empowers you to make the informed decisions. Check out the website, rolloinsurance.com/TexAgs. That's rolloinsurance.com/TexAgs. 888-44-ROLLO. That's 888-44-ROLLO. Hey friends, David Nuño here for the Association of Former Students, and have you checked out the latest issue of the Texas Aggie magazine? The May through June issue is a special Aggie Spirits issue that includes all things Aggie: wine, beer, mead, spirits, and much, much more. And the team at the Association of Former Students searched far and wide for Aggie-owned businesses, breweries, wineries across the state, the country, and even the world. That's right, the globe, baby. And as much as could be found has been compiled into the magazine for the Aggie Network. Now, normally, the Texas Aggie magazine is available only to Century Club members. However, this issue is available to everyone. So to read the issue and explore giving to receive future issues, visit tx.ag/Texas Aggie. That is tx.ag/Texas Aggie. Again, don't miss the special Aggie Spirits issue of the Texas Aggie to explore all things Aggie: wine, beer, mead, spirits, and much, much more. It is tx.ag/Texas Aggie. Check it out. We are back here on TexAgs Live. We are presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. We're in the Rollo Insurance Studio, and the Go Hour, presented by the Warehouse at CC Creations, is about 2 minutes from coming to a close. He's Olin, I'm David, and Ashley Munson's at the Angry Elephant News and Social Center. Are the people talking?
They are talking.
What are the people saying?
Well, Aggie6 on the YouTube chat asks, who will the Aggies hire as their next...
I don't know.
Pitching coach? Oh.
I don't know. I don't know who they're going to hire. Ronnie hasn't told me.
You know what? I'd have a list.
What about predictions? Like, who do you guys
I don't know baseball well enough.
There's this guy named Steve Buscemi. I believe they're going to hire him.
Okay.
The guy from West Reservoir Dogs. Look, I would have a list.
I'm going to talk to Ronnie at 9:30, by the way.
I would have a list of the 10 best pitching coaches out there, and I'd call one after another until somebody said yes.
Yeah.
And I'd really want to know if they had some good pitchers to bring with them.
I kind of like the approach of what the prior regime did when they got Max Wiener. Going to get a young, whoever that MLB guy is that is young and like doing some really creative, cool things. I kind of like that as an idea.
Yeah.
I'm not educated enough who the great pitching coaches are in college baseball. I'm just telling you what I would do is get somebody that can connect with young people, that has a track record of development, and is maybe doing things in this modern world of baseball.
Analytically driven is, I think,
analytically driven, but with the eyeball test. Like when people rely too much on the analytics, I have a problem with that too. You got to go with your gut and just your baseball gut.
I'm going to go with my gut.
1771?
Yeah.
Well, they're close.
Well, sometimes in the very near future.
All right, we got about time for one quick last comment. Munson, go. Pressure. 3, 2, 1, go.
Comment, I mean, there's not too much going on, but James Ellis 701 says he's expecting a quick hire and got to get on the portal, guys, quick. So
got to get on the portal quick. They just did.
They did.
I mean, the season ended. Bam.
Bam.
Jack Bell's been here before.
Yeah.
Yep.
When's the last time you went to Taco Bell?
Oh, God. Probably before the last time I climbed a tree.
1988 for me. All right, that's going to do it. We'll be back with hour number 2. John Harris next on TexAgs. And welcome back to TexAgs Live. We are presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. We are in the Rollo Insurance Studio. It is hour number 2 of the program, and our good friends at Bryan Broadcasting should be calling John Harris here in a moment. Chat with Johnny about, we'll talk about the Senate hearings. I don't even know, have they started yet? Can you do a quick Google search on the Senate hearings? I assume it's East Coast, it's 10 o'clock. It should have already started by now. Isn't it being televised too, Nick?
I'm not sure, but I can figure that out.
I mean, they usually televise all these hearings, so I would assume it is. So we'll get Johnny's thoughts on that. And obviously, what is it? 36 hours later, the Myles Garrett trade. Got to talk to Johnny about that. He's a big Myles Garrett guy. So a lot to get into here on the program. If you want to chat about any of the things we've talked about, you can do that multiple ways. You can call us up on the Buppy's Catering and Bartending Hotline, 979-693-1150, or text us on that same number. That's the Catalyst Pure Performance Energy text line, PPE, 979-693-1150. Anyway, we go talk to our buddy John Harris, Houston Texans sideline reporter, footballtakeover.com founder, and our dear friend. Johnny, good morning, buddy.
Good morning, David. How you doing?
I'm good. I want to start things off with Myles Garrett. We're a big Myles Garrett show. This dude going to L.A., what does it do to the NFC? What does it do to the NFL?
You missed the third one. What does it do to the AFC? I was so happy to see that trade, and I was happy to see it to a team the Texans won't play this year. Now, if we do end up playing the L.A. Rams at the end of the year, well, that'd be awesome. But we'll also be playing a true road game in SoFi Stadium because that's where the Super Bowl is this year. So I love this deal for a number of reasons. I think the Rams are such a well-run organization. And I think what happens in the NFL, it's funny because when I go to the Combine, I pick the brain of different people that kind of have the same job or something similar to what I do and kind of hear what they have to say about their teams. Oh, let me tell you about my squad. Let me tell you about my organization. And invariably, I'm sure players do the same thing. And he's been up in Cleveland where it's just been nothing but, what do they call it, the factory of sadness. I mean, it's just been a nightmare. Now he gets to go to L.A. I mean, I think his girlfriend is from L.A., if I remember right. I think Chloe Kim is from L.A., so I mean that helps too. But now you're going to the Rams. I mean, it's McVay and Les Snead. It's one of the best run organizations in the NFL. It's in one of the great cities in America, and it's an opportunity, probably most importantly to Myles, to A, make some money, B, get some sacks, C, cement the Hall of Fame legacy, and D, maybe most important, have a chance to win. And win consistently and win at the highest level. Because for a lot of great players, I mean, I think about J.J. Watt. I think about many others. I mean, J.J. never even got to play in an NFC AFC championship game, much less go to a Super Bowl. Myles is the same way. I mean, they haven't even won I think they won one playoff game, if I remember correctly, with Myles, and that was the COVID year. But other than that, they haven't had an opportunity to do much of anything in the playoffs, much less not be the number one pick. So, for Myles, it kind of checks all the boxes. And for the Browns, it does as well, because the Browns are in reset mode. Again, they got to get it right. And Deshaun Watson isn't it, and Shedeur Sanders isn't it. So they've got to build the assets, get assets, obtain the assets, use them well in the draft. And Jared Burris, I don't want to say is like a rookie. I mean, he's like he's going into his third year, but you don't have to give him a new contract yet. He gets the opportunity to go back home. He's from Dayton. So I think there are a lot of winners in this whole deal, but obviously the biggest one ends up being Myles. But I think last year cemented his Hall of Fame legacy. This year in L.A., can do nothing but he's a first ballot Hall of Famer with a great year, which I think he's going to have out in L.A.
Talking to John Harris here on TexAgs Live. Johnny, let's just talk about what the Rams, how much of a difference does it make a team that was already knocking on the door last year and they have all that talent? And Matthew Stafford, for just them in particular, how much of a difference maker does it make? And do you believe Aaron Donald is really thinking about, hey, I might have to come back?
Oh, if I'm Aaron Donald, I would. The thing about it is Aaron Donald left at the top of his game, so I'll start there. So, I mean, if you're on social media, you see the things he's doing. He's staying in great shape. But what you find out when you talk to players that are a little seasoned, have been around this thing, it's like, they want to play on Sunday. They're not up for the preparation and all that kind of stuff, unless there's a really good chance of, hey, I can put another piece of jewelry on my finger. This guy, Myles Garrett, man, you put me next to Myles, man, this could be a dream. Now, it gets kind of complicated, I would imagine, with contracts and things like that, but maybe Aaron Donald's sitting there going, hey, I want a ring more than I want another $20 million. And so maybe the Rams end up getting him at a discount or whatever the case might be. But take that aside. You just put Myles Garrett in a situation in which he's got one of the better offenses in the league. I mean, think about it. He got 23 sacks last year playing for the Browns. The Browns were behind in every game, basically.
So it wasn't as if Miles had a 27-14 lead in the fourth quarter and he could just pin his ears back and go get the quarterback. And teams, look, are going to take that away as much as they possibly can. They're going to hit Miles with 1, 2, 3, maybe even 4 different individuals of a tackle, a tight end, a chip from a running back, another tight end. They're going to do all kinds of things to slow him down in those situations. But once that's done, Kobe Turner and Byron Young and the other players that the Rams have that have the capability of getting the quarterback, they're going to be able to eat. And now all of a sudden you've got this complete defense that Miles obviously leads. And yeah, he might not get 23 sacks, but he's going to have a whole hell of a lot more opportunities to go get the quarterback and do the thing that he is best at doing. And that is to hunt the quarterback. Now, it's not going to be easy. When you look at the Rams' schedule, especially after the bye week, they face some heavies. But they now are the heaviest. They are the team that everybody has to fear because if you have Miles, and now you got Aaron Donald to the mix, and, I mean, you can shut it down because they can stay in their base four-man even front and have Fisk, Aaron Donald, Myles Garrett, and Byron Young, or whoever they want, Josiah Stewart on the other side, and they can just let them eat. They can play 7 DBs behind those 4, and it'll be the most menacing pass rush, this side of Houston. So I think Miles is in the best situation he could possibly be. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of focus on him, but there already was in Cleveland. And he still got 23 sacks, and they weren't ahead in games where teams were going to throw to get back in it. So from that standpoint, I think he's going to have a ton more opportunities. And the fact that he's out in L.A., he's going to have the focus on him on NFL Network, ESPN. First Take's going to be talking about Myles Garrett after a 3-sack game. I mean, he sacked the quarterback 5 times in New England last year, David. 5 times. He got Drake May 5 flipping times. And nobody talked about it. Nobody. All they talked about was, the Patriots won the game. They didn't talk about 5 sacks against the New England Patriots in New England. They didn't talk about it. Myles Garrett gets 5 sacks against New England as an LA Ram. It'll be a talking point on every shouty show from here to Kingdom Come. And that is, now, it ramps up the pressure on Myles, but I think Myles is at a point where he can handle it at this point. I think he would rather have that than being in Cleveland another year where they're thinking about winning 3 or 4 games.
What about the A.J. Brown trade and what that does for a team that also knocked on the door of a championship last year? It's had a lot of offseason drama. What does it do for the Patriots?
Yeah, I don't think A.J.'s at the height of his powers, but he's still got plenty, and they're losing Diggs. So I think he steps right in and kind of gives them the production that Diggs left behind. And they're definitely going to need that. I think that receiving core in New England's underrated. I felt like, seeing them up close. I mean, I knew they were good, but if Kayshon Boutte plays well, that just takes that group up a different level. Pop Douglas is a great slot receiver. They added Romeo Doubs, which I thought was huge. I've been a Romeo fan for a while since the days of Nevada, and now you bring in AJ, who can do a little bit of everything. He can be your power slot. He can be your X. He can be a red zone threat. He can be a deep threat. I mean, he can do pretty much anything on a football field, and I've always been enamored with him, and I really wanted the Texans to look at him a couple years ago. You put him with Nico Collins, like, holy crap. But just wasn't right. Timing wasn't right. You're going to have to give up too much, and, it kind of fit in Philly for him until last year. Then it all broke down. Now, with AJ, he is one of those stereotypical wide receiver divas. It can go south in a hurry, and it can go south because somebody used a period at the end of a text instead of a question mark. And it can just, he's wired that way. He's very sensitive, and that can not be great. But it's at least not Belichick. And he knows Vrabel. And Vrabel knows that he can push AJ, and AJ can accept it because he knows Vrabel loves him. But the way things broke down in Philly, it makes me worry, well, for the Patriots' sake, that those kind of things can pop up again. That said, he catches 95 balls for 1,200 yards and 8 touchdowns, and nobody's going to worry about whether he's sensitive to a joke or not. They're going to be just fine. So I think it bolsters the Patriots. I think I don't want to say it was muted, but it was one of those things we've been talking about since February. We were at the Combine, and the Patriots people were like, yeah, we're going to get A.J. Brown. Like, oh, well, where'd you get that from? And they're like, well, Diana Rossini told us. So, You take it for what it is. But they were going to get Patriots were going to get A.J. Brown. And Mike Vrabel's got his guy. And, again, when you get your guy, that's the guy that can spread your message if it needs to be spread in the locker room. And that's why coaches go out. Bill Parcells used to go get Pepper Johnson and bring him in wherever he was because he can spread the message of, Parcells amongst the locker room. And then once there are other disciples that kind of take it in, then those are other guys that can do that along the way. A.J. Brown can do that. I don't think New England needs it. But if it does come to that kind of thing has to happen, then A.J. Brown knows how to speak fluent Vrabel, and he can carry that through the locker room as well.
Talking to John Harris here on TexAgs Live. Johnny, SEC and Big Ten officials pushed back on the Senate proposal in their meeting today. What's your biggest takeaway from what could happen today and what the SEC and Big Ten really want to do?
I think the Big Ten SEC would really like to break away, if I'm being honest. Come together, Tony Petitti and Greg Sankey, and sit down. And again, that kind of becomes a power struggle too. But, hey, let's put all that aside. Let's come together. I mean, what the Big Ten has, ironically, the Big Ten has, 18 teams? SEC has how many? I mean, maybe there's a couple of conference realignment things that could happen to both get them to 20. And then you have 40 teams that are the cream of the crop in college football, and away you go. Now, Big 12 fans will get all sensitive about it. Like, whoa, what about us? We've got, look, show up in the playoff and, we'll talk. So I think from that standpoint, if I'm thinking about it from a Big Ten SEC standpoint, I'm thinking, look, Big Ten's got Fox, ESPN has the SEC. Those are the two biggest powers in our, college football media universe. Go get those two in a room, Petitti and Sankey. Get Fox executives and ESPN executives in that room and sit down and hash there. Find, common ground on certain things, kind of a pseudo collective bargaining agreement for, the conference teams that are, and rock on. I kind of think that's where they would like to go. What's the NCAA is going to tell them no? I mean, I don't see that happening. And when it comes to college football, I mean, if you set up a 18 playoff amongst the SEC and Big 12, I mean, you can consider that champion to be on an equal level with everybody else's champion if the Big 12 and ACC set something up together? No. You're going to look at the Big 10 SEC championship winner as the college football national champion. So I think if I'm Petitti and I'm Sankey, I sit down and go, hey, look, whether one of us is one or two or however you look at it, doesn't matter. We're the two biggest powers. We are Scotty and Michael. We are LeBron and Michael. We are Kobe and Michael. And everybody else is Granville Waiters. So let's get together and let's come up with a champion amongst our group, figure out the best way to do it, come up with an 18 playoff. And that's the other thing. When the CFP put out its playoff schedule, it's absolutely asinine. The amount of time in between games is just stupid. I'm sorry. I don't understand. Oh no, I do understand. I should say it this way. I'm flabbergasted that there's nobody in college football that can say, hey, this isn't right. This is dumb. Let's fix this. And maybe that's the thing. Maybe a lot of people have been doing that, but they just have been trying to do it on a much broader scale as opposed to, you know what? We're the two best conferences in college football. Let's fix this thing the right way. Let's get together. Let's come up with a super champion amongst the two conferences. And let's, even if it's just the champion from the SEC and the championship champion from the Big Ten, go play in the Rose Bowl every year on January 1st, and that's your national champion. I don't know. That could be as simple as that. But that's where I think they can say, yeah, look, we'd like everybody else to come along for the ride, but does it really matter to them? No, not really. Those conferences know they are the flavor du jour. Let's make it happen. And everybody else, Clemson's mad because they're left in the ACC. Oh, sorry. I mean, come to the SEC. Maybe we'll recruit you, Clemson. I don't know. But that's why I think down deep, I think that's what they would like to do.
Johnny, I'm going to read you just a couple tweets before we hit a break here from Ross Dellinger. He says, in an interesting portion of her testimony, Pac-12 Commissioner Teresa Gould believes that the industry should engage in honest conversations around student-athlete employment and collective bargaining. Gordon Gee says, directed at the SEC and the Big Ten, and by the way, he's a consultant for Ohio State. Today we have an opportunity. I do believe that window will close quickly. There are those who don't want that window to remain open. We have to run through it. And the Notre Dame AD, Pete Bavacqua, says you only have a small number of universities who can invest a field of a nationally competitive football team.
Yeah, I mean, the last part of Pete Bavacqua with that statement, I mean, he's right because of the way that this is structured right now. You talk to some college coaches and they're like, man, I got a backup tackle calling me wants $2 million and he didn't even start last year. I mean, that's how insane this thing has gotten. I mean, that's where I think the NFL isn't perfect, but the NFL has a pretty good look on value, a pretty good understanding of value of what a player is, what a player can be. College doesn't have that. They look up and say, you know what, I spent my first 2 years at Ohio State, and now they're calling Tulane and saying, look, I was a backup at Ohio State. I should start at Tulane, and I should get $2.5, $3 million. And I'm just using Tulane as an example. And Tulane's like, we ain't got that, especially to pay for a guy that we don't think is very good. I think that's one of the things that college football right now is struggling with is just there is a distinct gap in how agents and prospects view themselves and how the universities view themselves. But the university can't help themselves because they got to fill out how many scholarships do they have now? They got to fill that entire roster out. So they're saying, yeah, we'll pay you $2 million. Yeah, we'll give you $1.5 million. And those guys may not even be, second or third teamers, but they got to fill out a roster. And so that's what ends up happening. The first point that was made, that's the one that I think gets really interesting, yet gets very sticky, is about the student athletes as employees. I mean, look, that's been talked about for years. I think if you're going to get to a collective bargaining agreement, that's the first thing that has to happen. And I think you're going to have pushback on that for however long. So that's the one hurdle I think you got to get over. If you get over that and say, yeah, okay, college student athletes will be perceived as employees, then there are going to be obviously other things that they're going to be afforded as being employees of the university. The collective bargaining agreement then can apply at that point. So it gets to be very, very, very wicked, as they would say, because of that collective bargaining agreement situation. And then, then the unionization aspect of employees, that gets tricky as well. So I think it's a lot more difficult than people think about the whole employee thing. It would be nice to make it all nice, neat, et cetera. But I mean, look at Major League Baseball. They've been employees. They've been, unionized for however long, and they have strikes, every 10, 15 years. I mean, it killed the World Series in '94. They're talking about a big strike or a lockout happening at the end of this year. Completely interrupts what they're doing in Major League Baseball. You want that to happen in college football? I mean, because that's where we're going. When we say student athletes are now employees, that's where we're going. If you want that, that's where we're headed. And that union will be very, very strong because there will be a lot of agents and a lot of people that understand the CBA, who negotiate things based on a CBA in the NFL. They're not going to be negotiating as it pertains to college football. So to me, it gets very, very sticky once you get there. But I think if you really want to get some continuity and some consistency, I think you have to get there from that standpoint. But again, it gets very, very sticky once you make them employees.
Johnny, I appreciate you, brother. We'll talk to you next week.
Yeah, man. Love you, bro. See you. Bye.
Love you, bro. That's my guy, John Harris. All right, we'll hit a break here. Let me read this tweet, though, before we bring in Pat Henry. Nick Saban was speaking at the Senate hearings, and he says he had $2.7 million. This is from Trey Wallace tweeting, $2.7 million of NIL dollars his first year in 21, then $7 million, then $10 million. He retired. It jumped to $17 million, then $24 million, and then he closes with, now you have schools at $40 million. Guys, this started in 21. Whew. All right, let's hit a break. When we come back, Pat Henry talking about the track and field team trying to win another national championship, hopefully 2. We'll talk about that on the other side. Right now, we're talking about Heritage Films. Chance McClain is the guy who runs that company. They make documentary films about families, family businesses, family ranches. Everybody's family has a story. Munson over here, her family's got a story in good old Brock, Texas, right? We all got a story. Your dad's got a story. Your grandfather's got a story. And those stories are so important to how you are, how you behave, how you raise your children, the good and the bad, right? That all comes from our family lineage and our family story. And Chance McClain captures that on a 2-hour documentary, just like you're a big-time Hollywood celebrity. But it's done for normal folks just like you and me. What you need to do is check out his website and learn all about a heritage film. 713-893-83 is the phone number, but the website, yourheritagefilm.com. That is yourheritagefilm.com. Welcome back into TexAgs Live. We are presented by David Gardner's Jewelers, Rollo Insurance Studio. Time for our weekly conversation with Pat Henry, and that is brought to you by the Brazos Running Company. From running shoes to Aggie pajamas, this Aggie family's got you covered. Visit the Brazos Running Company in Century Square. Shop masonhay.com at masonhay.com.
Hey.
Coach Henry, what's up, sir?
About 1,000 things.
Well, I mean, you're kind of busy. You're traveling. You're winning. We got good stuff going on this weekend. We got great stuff going on the weekend after.
Yeah.
How are you feeling?
2 big weekends. 2 big weekends coming up. Yeah, and I was pleased with the way our team did things at the regional championships, and so it's helped us. Well, we advanced a lot of people to the national meet, and so it was good for us this weekend.
Did anything surprise you from your team this weekend?
Well, I'm surprised at our numbers.
Mm-hmm.
The regional meet, you just don't know what's going to happen. It's half of the United States. It's not a region. It's half of the United States comes to the west, and then there's an east championships, and that was at Kentucky. So it's a lot of people, a lot of competition. The 48 best in every event, and so it's very, very competitive. It's a meet that I don't like. I don't think we should have. I think it's your great ones. It gives them an opportunity to fail and not make it, and I don't think that's correct to do it this time of year. But
how would you fix it?
We have qualified before by the top 16 marks in the United States qualify the national championships. Boom.
That would make the most sense, yeah.
That's it. But people didn't like that, and so they've
When did
changed.
it change?
Oh, it's probably been 10 years
I was
ago.
going to say, okay.
Yeah.
Well,
It's just the way it is. I don't care how they make the rules. I really don't care. We're going to try to win it no matter what they do, so it doesn't make any difference.
Well, somebody who is showing up often is Cameron Dixon, one of our favorites, breaks another school record, one of her own records.
Yeah.
What makes her such a special athlete?
Well, she's really matured between her ears right now, and that's the biggest thing. She's physically she's had this ability for quite a while, but track is so mental that it takes time, and so she's getting strong between her ears.
Jasmine as well, big weekend.
Made big changes. In the last 2 and 3 weeks, she's really done real well. She's seen the light, and
Would you say changes like in just something about her approach?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, how you prepare to run that race, and how you feel about yourself, and are you confident in yourself? Can you go out there and line up and beat that person right next to you? Can you beat those people in that race? That's a big mental game. It's not all physical. You don't just get out there and run fast.
Yeah.
Rabbits do that.
There's a strategy, right?
There's a strategy.
Well, and I think Jaya's got the strategy in the last couple of years.
Yeah, Jaya's done real well. I hurdler. She was a national champion last year, and she's run there. It's a tough event. They're all tough, but the short hurdles for females is so fast that it only takes one little bitty mistake, and you're out. You go from winning it to 6th, 7th, 8th place real quick. So she's got to be and that's that's the theme. That's what we have to do this next week. Is everybody's got to have a great day on the same day for us to be competitive. I mean, we've got more. This is more than I've taken ever at A&M.
Is it 17 women and?
No, I think we have more men than we have women. I think it's 17, 16, something like that. But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 16 men.
16 men, okay.
Yeah, 15 women. I think, yeah.
So, and they need to be great on the same
On
day.
that day. They need to be at their best.
Mm-hmm.
That may not be great, but they need to be at their best. And that's the goal. You go there, you've had all year to get yourself ready for the big play at the end. Everything's been a rehearsal.
Yeah.
And we don't have a cumulative record. Nobody cares if you win every 100 meters you're in all year long. What did you do at the region meet? And now what are you going to do at this next meet? That's what counts.
On the men's side, I got to talk about JQ qualifying, in both hurdles
Both
events?
hurdles, yeah. He's the only guy in the NCAA that's qualified in both hurdles.
Special guy.
He is. He really is. But, we can go down this list. David Foster ran 10.0, 100 meters, 10.09. That's really special. I mean, they're legal 10.09. He's running real well right now. And you just mentioned JQ. Kimar is running the quarter for us.
Peter Narumbe.
Yeah, Peter, a freshman. And Dodu, our other freshman, just barely missed out on making the national meet. Just barely. I've never had two half-milers run 146.6 and 144 plus.
Right.
Peter's for his age is the best in the world at his age. Nobody's run that fast.
So what has to happen between now and when you leave from Eugene? Is it mental sharpness, relaxation, combination of everything?
Yeah, we're still training. I mean, but you gotta run the engine. You gotta keep it running. You gotta fire the system. You know what? If you don't go in the weight room for 4 or 5 sessions, you feel different. And you lift. You know how your body feels if you don't keep it.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's the goal right now, is not doing too much and not doing enough. So it's a balancing act for the next 6 or 8 days.
Last thing for you, and we'll try to catch. I know your schedule gets crazy when you're there, so if we can't catch up next week, but if we can, great. This weekend, we've got a pro event right here, national television, worldwide television, NBC, right here in our backyard, and it's one of 2 events.
Yep, and it only lasts 2 hours. It's live on NBC and all of their affiliates around Europe. It's going for 2 hours on Saturday at 2:00. I think it's 2:00, 2:45 maybe. But yeah, this kind of meet's never been on American soil, ever. World Athletics is the one who determines where this kind of meet goes. And so we're very fortunate to get it here. We have one in Los Angeles and one in College Station, Texas. Mm-hmm. So I feel great about that. And I think for people who have, you get to see the best sprinter in the world is going to be here. You don't get those opportunities very often.
Well, we'll have our team there, Coach Henry. By the way, what a weekend here, because we got the soccer match as well. Amazing stuff, and then hopefully 1 or 2 more national championships in your future, I hope. I can say that out loud, but I know that you'll have your team ready. Thank you for coming in.
Yep.
Best of luck.
We'll
catch up with you soon,
Appreciate it, yeah.
We'll hit a break. We'll come back at the latest on the A&M pitching coach situation. We'll talk to Ryan Brauninger on the other side as TexAgs Live. Nobody has been closer to the A&M baseball program than Ryan Brauninger, the man to my left. He's in here. He broke the news of Jason Kelly's departure just yesterday. Also, you were in the mix for the portal stuff yesterday, right?
In the mix?
Yeah, with Jack Bell. I mean, like you retweeted his tweet. I mean, you knew about it, but you retweeted him. You didn't break that story. You retweeted his story.
Jack broke his own commitment.
I was trying to find the right way to phrase that.
Jack called me yesterday morning, talked to Jack on the phone, and I've known Jack for quite a while.
Mm-hmm.
He's played for 12. He's out of Corpus Christi, and got to know him and his family whenever he was here at A&M as a freshman, and so talked to him on the phone a couple of times yesterday, and he called me, or we talked in the morning, felt like it was going A&M's way, and he said he was going up to the facility to meet with Coach Earley and wanted to tell him face-to-face, and then shortly after his meeting with Coach Earley, he called me back and said, hey, I just committed. So put out my little, here comes a commitment tweet, and then Jack followed it up about 4:45 yesterday with his announcement that he was coming back to Texas A&M. So, if you are interested in this baseball portal stuff, we are tracking it down seemingly every hour of every day. There's not been a ton of movement right now. A&M is putting out a lot of feelers across the country, positions of need. But if you are wanting to stay up to date with that, sign up for TexAgs Premium and check out our transfer portal tracker. It's being updated 4 or 5 times a day, I'd say.
Yeah, this morning I was playing catch up. You had a lot of good stuff there yesterday. So the Jason Kelly situation, I mean, I think we all knew it was trending in this direction. He had a 2-year deal with the team. There was no talks about them renewing him. They had to go in a different direction, Bronny. Like it just the numbers bared out a certain way.
Yeah, it's part of Michael Earley's continued kind of progression as a manager, is making tough decisions about every element of his program from top to bottom. And he had to do it last year whenever he let go of Will Fox and he hired Cliff Pennington. That was an upgrade. And this year, because of the numbers on the mound, and I know it was funny. We talked a lot about the end of the year being the inverse of it was the offense that didn't come through when they had for the better part of 50-something games. It was the offense that carried the team, and then when you needed them and you got some good pitching performances against USC, the offense went cold. But that doesn't. 2 nights doesn't negate season-long trends and the struggles that we saw from Texas A&M really starting in conference play all the way through the end of the season. This was, they allowed an incredible number of home runs. You look at the numbers there on the screen from 2025 to 2026, the increase in all of those numbers in more games. It's wild. It was.
Is it one more game this year?
Yes, and so they are comparative stats. And you look at them like early in the year, like, hey, they don't walk people. Well, they walked less people last year than they did this year, and they didn't strike out as many people this year as they did last year. And then just the most concerning issue was the amount of hard hit balls they were surrendering game after game, and especially hard hit balls late in supposed pitchers' counts. Like, how many 2-strike home runs did we see this year?
Mm-hmm.
It was outrageous. And at some point, there is, just like with every decision in coaching, whether it be in-game or in terms of their employment status going forward, there is responsibility that lies with the players, right?
Absolutely. They got to perform.
The pitching coach calls the pitch. It's got to be executed. No different than Holman Wiggins calls the play. It's got to be executed. But if your guys are not executing, what are you doing to change and fix that? What developmental pieces are you giving them? What added elements to their repertoire are you giving them to try to help them work through this and try to solve a problem? And I think that was the biggest question about what Jason Kelly was doing with the pitching staff. I think there were questions about how he related to the pitchers, what kind of culture he was building from himself down, or was it, the players building it and kind of how they wanted to? What kind of identity did they have? What was the pitching identity? Well, you knew you had an offensive identity. What was the pitching identity? And then, connecting with the players and I guess
you mentioned
intent on the recruiting trail. Like there was some stuff that
you said yesterday on your show on the B team, which I highly recommend you guys check out.
Record numbers yesterday.
Yeah, congratulations. Yeah. And you guys deserve it. That there were commits that didn't hear from them. And that sounds like, to me, a coach that probably knew he was not going to be retained. It feels like that.
And that is just coming from the baseball world. That's what people are telling me that were not part of the program. It was like, I haven't heard from the pitching coach in months. And that shouldn't happen. And whether they were uncommitted or committed players, that shouldn't happen. So, and Jason Kelly, that's a baseball family. Seemingly every male member of his family is in baseball to some degree. And so he was not probably dumb to this. I think maybe he thought after the season there would be at least some discussion about what it would look like going forward. But I don't think he was completely blindsided, if I had to guess. And I am guessing, but if I had to guess, I don't think he was completely blindsided. It stinks because this is the way of the internet now. Jason Kelly's a decent human being. Good dude. Yep. Treated me and us with respect at every turn. I didn't interact with him a ton, but at every turn I was treated with respect, had good baseball conversations, and he was fairly open about what he thought of the pitching staffs that he had when he was here. But the way people have talked about him on his departure is completely over the line. And it's disappointing, but I know it's the age of the internet now, that you can say and do whatever without really any kind of responsibility, without any accountability for saying those things. But it's just that part of, to me, has been gross. Coach Earley decided to move on because of the performance on the field, not any other external factors other than he thought he could make an upgrade at that spot.
The other thing, and Boomer brought this up on the show today, we didn't have a lot of guys with stuff. Now, some of that, because some of the guys were injured, right? We had some good arms that came in that got injured. But how much do you read into that? There's a developmental
piece to this for sure. And, Coach Earley also had to replace a strength and conditioning coach at the semester break.
Yep.
But still, there are some things that I think the next pitching coach is going to be a little bit more tapped into the current trends of pitching, which are, I would really want to dive into the analytics and pitch shape. And I really want to have and they will with this new facility, I want to have all the slow-mo cameras, not where we're going to have to set them up and move them every day, where they're just they're part of the facility. Yep. That's what a pitching lab is. But not only have access to it, but utilize them to make changes and develop the pitcher. So, you can get a guy to throw harder by cleaning up some of his mechanics, but a lot of that is just raw arm talent, right? What you walk in here with, your ability to spin the baseball, all of that can improve. But I don't think you're going to see a kid go from 91 to 97. Those type of jumps typically don't happen unless he is very immature coming in physically. Then you could get some real strength added to and weight added to his frame, and so you can start generating more torque down the mound, all those types of things. But just developing a full arsenal that is best suited for Gavin Lyons, a full arsenal that is best suited for Caden McCoy, a full arsenal that is best suited for Hunter Vincent. All of those pitchers are very different, and they need to have tools to get guys out that fit for them.
Yeah.
Not a one-size-fits-all type of thing. And I believe that whenever you really dive into what pitching is now, you can do that if you get a guy that is going to look at this and say, all right, the spin axis on your changeup is not creating any deception. We need to, using all of the tools at our availability, we need to get in there and we need to figure, do we need to change the axis? We need to change the grip on your changeup to create more depth to it. Those are the type of conversations that pitchers now they're getting this analytical stuff in high school with their private pitching coaches. So they want that when they get to Texas A&M. They're used to speaking that language now. I think that this next pitching coach hire, you're going to see a lot more of that. Less old school in terms of hey, we're going to change some mechanical stuff that's worked in the past that are kind of some old school principles of pitching. And we're going to try to tap into a little bit of this new school, this new wave.
Just about 30 seconds before I have to hit a break. Do you expect this hire to be a soon thing or it's going to take a little time?
It's a good question. There's part of me that thinks we could hear something today.
Okay.
There's part of me that thinks this could go on for a couple of weeks.
Sounds like they may have a candidate in mind.
Yes, and I tweeted this, so it's not like I'm breaking any news here. College baseball candidates are in play. Professional baseball candidates are also in play. The net is being cast pretty wide throughout baseball.
Thank you, Braunie. Great work as always. Check out the B team tonight. I'm sure he'll have a lot more information this afternoon. When it comes to your money and your peace of mind, it starts with the right team. That right team, hopefully, is Aggie and Paragon Financial Advisors. They're an independent fiduciary firm serving clients all across Texas. No commissions, no sales pitches, just trusted advice tailored to you. They have a team of 18 professionals, and also they have 9 CFPs, a CFA, and a CPA. What you need to do is check out the website, paragon-adv.com, or give them a call, 979-693-3907, to schedule your free consultation today. It is Paragon Financial Advisors, integrity, expertise, and trust. Paragon Financial Advisors. Got a question for people. If A&M would have somehow won that game, okay? Somehow. Nick, you answer this too. Munson, you're involved. What kind of text messages and YouTube chats are we getting today?
If we would have won?
Yeah, just say they won. Okay, they lost. All right, they lost 2 straight. It sucks. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Had they won?
Probably a lot more positivity. We're the best. Woo!
The reason I ask, I haven't actually done this, Nick, but I'm sure you can remember. Look, it's a results business, so people should be mad.
Yes.
Right? I get it. Like, bro, Real Madrid finished in 2nd place. I hate soccer right now. Okay, I hate it. I don't want to watch it. I'm going this weekend, though. Watch the guy I don't like to watch. Anyway, I understand. I'm not saying I disagree with you guys, but it's just funny how, like, in the aftermath of good and bad, how quickly we change. After the Texas series, there were, Nick, am I right? There were threads about, like, dude, Early for president, JK's figured it out.
For sure.
After this, I hate everyone. I hate TexAgs. I hate Jason Kelly. I hate the buffet line. I hate the mailman. Everybody sucks. Results business. So they got to get it right.
What'd the buffet line do to you?
I hate buffets. I'm going to be very honest with you. I think buffets are like communist. What they
I can
do,
kind of get behind that. I understand. They're kind of gross, you know.
I mean, the food's been out for days. Okay? Sucks. Okay? And then they put this little salt thing in it to make it maybe taste better. And then you get bloated and you feel like, and you overeat. And the food's sometimes hot, but then another guy like grabs his chicken before you and like arm hair falls. No, I'm out. What?
So you don't like Golden Corral or like
I'm not going to, don't go, because if they want to sponsor the show, I'm for sale.
What about Chinese buffets?
No! Anyway, that's how I'm going to end the segment. No! Bye. Welcome back in. It is TexAgs Live. We are presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. We are in the Rollo Insurance Studios. Time for Recruiting Country, brought to you by America Momentum Bank. They are the only privately owned bank headquartered in Bryan, College Station, and they're committed to helping our community prosper by offering you a wide array of personal and business banking solutions specifically designed to help build financial success with confidence and momentum on your side. Look, we got Jason Howell in freaking studio on a big day.
Yeah.
And we have so much recruiting that we can't detour, but we're going to detour. People care about the buffet talk. I just want to make sure that we're all in agreement here.
Yeah.
I'm sure there are some good buffets. I'm sure. Okay. It's not my choice. But Brazilian steakhouse, sushi masa, those kind of places, why did I make it Spanish? I made sushi masa a Spanish place. Those places are not, they're different.
Yeah.
There's like a different level.
Yeah. Well, not even that. Yeah, that's
different.
Brazilian steakhouses, hey, they're slicing it right off.
Yeah.
Freshly cooked, whatever.
It's different.
Yeah, it is different.
Cruise buffets? Ever done a cruise?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, it's what's there, man.
Yeah, you just take it.
Yeah.
Hey, buddy. Good 36 hours, huh?
Yeah. Yeah.
Good few hours for A&M.
I'll be back next week, so you get me a little bit more.
Back-to-back weekends, or back-to-back Wednesdays. All right. Well, let's start off with Frederick Ards III.
Yes. Orlando Jones, 6'5", 225, edge defender. He had offers from just about everywhere. I want to say he had over like 100 some odd tackles. His stats are insane. Go read the story we wrote. But,
really good recruiting tape too, right?
It's he's got a lot of length, athleticism. You see him out in space. He is a closer. He is violent, and I
like that word.
Yeah, I do too. I like to use it to describe these defenders. But he is aggressive, and man, he can just flat out go. He ended up picking A&M over South Carolina, Alabama, and Florida. I think was also in the mix there. He brings it. This is one of my favorite tapes of the class right here. This is a guy I really circled on my personal want list. He was really high up there. He's a top 100 prospect, one of the best in the state of Florida. Man, A&M, Mike Elko. We've known him to dominate in the state of Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
They've done some things here and there in Florida, but this year they're picking it apart, man. And I don't think they're done.
All right. So what do you think his ceiling is, or like maybe who does he remind you of?
Well, I know Bronny's been talking about him and Marco Jones, and he's a little leaner version right now.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, he's like I said, 6'5", about 225. He's got the frame that he's going to continue to add mass there in his midsection, and he brings a little bit more twitch to him than maybe Marco does, which is saying something. From the high school tape, you see the aggression, you see him coming off the ball. That first few steps, incredible. He's played for this is one of the top programs in the state of Florida. This guy, he's constantly competing for state championships. They played in the state finals last year, and man, A&M's getting a stud.
What about Loya Valade? I'm saying it that way. I know it's wrong.
No, you're right.
I'm right?
Loya Valade.
Loya Valade.
Yeah, well, that's wrong. Don't do that.
Thank you. Tell me a little bit about the Loya.
So Loya, he's originally from Canada.
Uh-huh.
He played the last 2 years in Chattanooga, Tennessee, at Macaulay down there, and that's one of the more highly thought of prep schools. That's where their rival, I think, has Peyton Manning's son that's going to be a stud quarterback next few years. But he's been a standout receiver and all across the secondary. He plays safety. You see him match up at corner. You see him with a little Ashton Bethel Roman there.
Mm-hmm.
But he can get gone in a hurry. Brings a lot of speed to the field. He's from the secondary. He sees it really well. Got a lot of instincts back there, and he's not afraid to jump up and undercut a pass. He's not afraid to come downhill and put the helmet on somebody. and but a lot of really great instincts.
Where do you think he plays?
I mean, I think we've got him listed as an athlete. I think he's more of a defensive guy.
Okay.
But you could see him play corner. You could see him play nickel. You could see him even line up at safety. He can bring it all across that back end, and he's a guy that I think could really see the field in a hurry. He's about 5'11", 180 pounds, but he plays bigger and faster than you see on just the measurables.
If there wasn't a Florida A&M already, I'd say we could rebrand it because we keep going to Florida and winning. I mean, A&M's winning battles everywhere.
Well, and this is a big get out of Florida, but he's barely
Florida. Yeah.
But
how long was he in Boca? For a year?
No, he just got there, I think, this spring.
Oh, this spring. Okay.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, big get.
4 total commits from Florida.
Yeah, and I mean, there's still big game hunting out there. So. We'll see what happens.
But how big is it to win those states, though? A state like Florida.
I mean, it's huge. When you're talking about Georgia and Florida, you're talking about states that rank right up there with Texas, California. With if you're recruiting the high end of those states, you're getting some of the best athletes that are out there. They produce per capita. At the top of the list, when it comes to the NFL draft and all that kind of stuff. So these are hotbeds that everybody's trying to recruit, and A&M's going in, and they're pulling out big time targets. And I tell you what's funny. So Loya, during his commitment interview, he's talking about why he made his decision for A&M, and he's talking about this is kind of like what we saw with Nick Saban at Alabama. I'm quoting Loya.
Yeah.
I mean, these kids are seeing something special at A&M. They're seeing A&M build something that's got them excited. Mike Elko's energized the recruiting trail for A&M, and he's got they're setting expectations really high, and these kids can see the vision.
I know we've talked about it, and maybe in the next segment we'll get into it, but I thought it felt pretty good in 22 leading up to that class.
Mm-hmm.
But this overall product, and I'm not just talking about from a football execution standpoint, although that is significantly better.
Yeah.
It just feels like a professionally run program.
Yeah, and that's one thing we do hear a lot about is the culture. And the coaches, the accountability in the locker room, and just I think there's so much more knowledge that's gone into building this class as far as just like that was the very front end of the NIL era. So you're learning as you were going, and I think this one's coming together really, like you said, in a proper manner. Like you've got the foundation laid with the culture of the program. You've got a lot of guys that are respected in that locker room. That I don't think anybody's going to come in and try and push around. So it is really fun to watch. With leaders like Travis Williams. You've got Coach E. You've got Coach Cushing over there. That whole offensive line coaching staff and that those guys in the trenches on the defense, man, they've really got things going and demand respect there. So it's really fun to watch this thing come together.
Chance Archangel.
Yes.
That name is fantastic, first off.
Yeah.
I want a football player with that name. Talk to me a lot about this one. Did this one surprise you?
Yes, it did. Well, I'll be honest. I wasn't surprised by Ard's announcement or that he picked A&M. Mm-hmm. I was surprised by the timing a little bit. Okay. And I mentioned it last night on the boards. Like, I don't think I was the only one. We were out at camp and just looking around. There was like, oh, what?
Okay, let's go.
Yeah. So, but Chance, he's a guy that A&M was his first offer. after his freshman year. He played varsity, was a second-team All-District as a freshman. But we talked to Coach Ryan Antoine, who's been there at Westgate for a long, long time. Got a great program. And he said, Chance is a guy who grew up around the program. He was a ball boy.
Yeah.
He said, we've seen Chance around since he was like 5. His dad's a basketball coach and real respected in the community and everything, and was a pretty special athlete himself. So they had a feeling Chance would develop into something, and checking in at 6'4", 240 right now. He's got offers from all across the country. LSU, Alabama, everybody's been after him. But A&M got in on him very early, and he's been to A&M multiple times. I think it was we're so busy watching that 27 class when 28 came along. I don't know if you Pop Cooney, he cracked me up. He posted last night after Chance committed. He was like, "Do we even have our hashtag?" Myles Garrett looking around like, "Where's our hashtag? What's our hashtag to put this out there?" I think it all came together yesterday. He was in town. Him and Zyron Forstall, 5-star committed, both kind of know each other out of Louisiana, and he decided to go ahead and pull the trigger and make it happen.
I think another interesting thing about how they're doing it is that I've seen recruiting cycles before where like a team, A&M or somebody else, gets a couple really big guys early, and then you don't really hear much about it, and then they stay in the top 5 or 10.
Mm-hmm.
This feels like a big left hook in January, then another big left hook in March, and then another in May. Like now we're in June. Like and let's remember a year ago, like they started getting these guys, and you start, okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, and that's one thing when we were talking about early recruiting rankings, right? I think it was in March when we really started talking about things and things.
Mm-hmm.
You could see the class coming together, and you had some pretty special pieces in there. But I said, look, they're ranked number 1 or 2, but it's something that the longevity of this group and what you're in on and what is capable of happening, it is something to watch because, even in March, it's still early. There's still a long way to go. And you had Tech with, 20 commits, or not Tech, it was Oklahoma with 21 commits.
I think they got 23 now.
And I think there's a few other classes that, but A&M was off the charts with average star rankings. And these are guys with staying power. These are like Mark Matthews. He's a guy that was a 5-star, has been a 5-star, and he's not going to be a 5-star.
Right.
And there's a lot of those guys in this class. Kamari Dorsey wasn't a 5-star when he committed, but he quickly became one, and he's not leaving that status. These are guys that people know about. They've dissected the game, and they're just special athletes, and that play the game of football at a high level. And
Jason, I'll say that I think that's one of Coach Elko's strength and his staff is building momentum, not just that knockout punch, but it's not even a slow build. It's a build.
Oh yeah, they don't stop.
Yeah,
and it's not even them necessarily now. Yeah, they have to work at it, but look who's carrying it on. Look who's doing the kids, the players, everybody. You got a lot of people doing the work that where the coaches. Not that they don't have to, but they're getting a lot of help from the guys in the class and the players, in the program. Frederick Ards credited DJ Hicks. Like he said, Coach E has been a guy that's recruited me since he was at Syracuse. And when Coach E got to A&M, that's when you saw Frederick Ards make his first visit to A&M. He took his first visit in January, before the ice storm. And then, you saw him come back and do all this. But he said DJ broke it down to me, just told me what Coach E's all about. And it matched up with everything Coach E has been telling me. And I know I can trust him. And you hear trust, you hear culture, you hear, accountability from all these guys. These are guys that want to get better. They're not out for just some kind of payday or whatever. These are guys who want to get better, want to play at a championship level. And that's, ultimately what makes this group such a special thing to watch.
What you mentioned, they're still going big game hunting.
Yes.
Right. So, take me through that, because that intrigues me. I'm already intrigued, all right? You've already got my attention, but, apparently, this is not a buffet we're talking about. This is more like a Brazilian steakhouse.
Yeah, and Elko's got it on green the whole time, right? Yeah. He is, last week you had Eric McFarland, 5-star receiver out of IMG in Florida. So widely regarded as one of the top prospects in the state of Florida. So, you're looking at another big get out of the Sunshine State, if I can speak properly. And then you got John Meredith, who was in town last week. Going into that visit,
they were kind of behind, right?
I was pretty much stamping that one to Texas. Now, not so much. I don't know if you listened to that interview I did yesterday. He was not only here over the weekend for his official visit, he was back in town yesterday for the 7-on-7 camp with his high school team.
Wow!
And he got to spend some time in the facility and with his team, going through doing their thing. Well, guess who's out there working that camp? The Texas A&M staff. So he gets to spend a lot of time with the staff, and that's another one right there. He's got Texas coming up, but A&M has put themselves
in a good spot.
In a really good spot. That's a guy that I would have said maybe in March or February. Yeah, I think A&M's in the driver's seat there, and things changed there for a little bit, and we'll see. But A&M definitely made a big surge after this last weekend, and I don't think yesterday hurt them at all either. Then this weekend, you got some guys coming in. Caden Henderson, linebacker, another Florida guy out of Tampa. So this a 5-star linebacker and a dude that he's got everybody in the country on him. He's regarded as one of, if not the top off the ball linebacker, a big guy that can play in space, that can man that Mike position, can come off the edge and do a lot of big things for you. Last week they had Mekhi Allen from Don Bosco.
Yep.
Chase Basantis is
another
school up in New Jersey. Chase has been recruiting Mekhi. So, there's a lot of synergy going in. We'll see what happens. You've got another big official visit weekend coming up. You're coming off one. You're seeing the fruits of some of that.
Yep.
And I'm expecting to see some more fruit from that first one, and then see things build over the weekend again.
All right, Mr. Howell, let's hit a break. We'll come back with more. We'll talk more about camp and some other things down the pipeline. In Texas, your HVAC system isn't a luxury, it's a necessity. And when you need service, it matters who you call. Hopefully you're calling the HVAC company that I call. That would be Daily Company, a locally owned and operated company that takes real pride in serving this awesome community. Their HVAC department provides comprehensive service, including repair, maintenance, full system installation. So if your AC stops working in the middle of the summer, you don't want to wait. You want to make sure you call somebody with emergency repair, and they will do that because they know that breakdowns never happen at a convenient time. And they'll work with all the top brands from Lennox to Trane to Goodman to Rheem to Honeywell, Daikin, Amana, you name it, they got it. At Daily Company, they stand behind their work and they treat every home like it's theirs. Call them up, 979-260-2020. That's 979-260-2020. Stay comfortable year-round with a local team that you can trust. It's the daily difference. Everyone, David Nuño here for Allen Honda. Had a great conversation with them earlier today. John Allen's the owner. He's been here forever, and also their GM, Rusty Skinner, great guy. Wonderful conversation. They're super local. They're a family-owned dealership, not some massive auto group, and they treat their customers like family because they basically are family. They're Aggie alums. They love Aggie sports, and they've been serving the Brazos Valley with integrity, with passion, and commitment to excellence for over 50 years, which is very rare, by the way, for the independents because people trust them. And that's why they've been doing it for such a long time. Whether you're looking to buy, lease, or service your vehicle, you can count on them for transparent, no pressure experience that puts your needs first. And I can attest to it. Had a great conversation about my own situation with them. Their knowledgeable sales team will help you find the perfect Honda to fit your lifestyle, from fuel-efficient sedans to versatile SUVs. Leasing options are flexible and affordable, making it easy to drive the latest models with confidence. And when it comes to service, their certified technicians only use genuine Honda parts to keep your vehicle running at its best, whether it's routine maintenance for major repairs or whatever it may be. And we know that trust isn't given, it is earned, and that's why generations of local drivers right here in the Brazos Valley and Bryan College Station keep coming back to Allen Honda. As part of the community with Aggie spirit in their hearts, they are here to make everyone's visit wonderful. So visit their showroom or their service lane and find friendly, efficient, and memorable situations when you go to Allen Honda. Come see why so many College Station and Bryan drivers choose Allen Honda for their automotive needs, and remember, gig 'em. Mr. Howell, how big of a deal is it to be in studio as opposed to not being in studio?
I get to cheat a little bit when I'm not in studio.
Oh, you get your computer?
Yeah, I have my computer.
I have my computer right here. I cheat all the time. Cheater.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I cheat. I never watch myself on the camera either.
Oh, I love to watch myself on the camera. I'm kidding. Recruiting Country brought to you by American Momentum Bank. Who at camp has stood out to you? Yesterday you saw was there anybody like, okay, I see what we got here?
Yeah, there were quite a few. They had several that came in with offers, and all of them showed out. You had in the 28 class, you had Jamarius Canton. You had Max Jones, a couple of IMG linemen from the state of Texas, and you had Kellen Hall, Louisville defensive end, defensive lineman. That's on his way to be a 5-star just across the whole spectrum of the recruiting rankings. Just some really special talent there. You had a guy got 29 out of Milton, Georgia, Landon G, who he's been piling up offers all across the country. He's started as a freshman at Milton, one of the top programs in the state of Georgia, and he's a phenomenal offensive tackle prospect. A lot of length, athleticism there, and I mean, just you name the school, he's got the offer. If he doesn't, you can call him up and be like, "I want to come to your school," and they'll make sure
they'll make sure it happens.
Has the availability there. Yeah, he was very, very impressive. You had a lot of really good reps out there, and then you had there was 127 that came into camp without an offer that pulled one in, and yeah, that's a big man out of Barbers Hill, committed to Houston, and yeah, he had a pretty good camp.
Yep.
Versatile defensive lineman, and he could be a guy to keep an eye on over the next few weeks with his recruitment there. So somebody put under your hat there.
How big of a deal is it that the biggest voice in A&M athletics when it comes to sports breaking down knowledge is watching us perform live here in studio? How big of a deal is that? Billy Lucci.
I mean, it is. I'd say it's pretty incredible when you got two talents like me and yourself here.
Yeah.
Just kind of setting the pace. Yeah.
Billy just popped in the studio. So we're just giving him a hard time. Which prospect do you think helped themselves out the most? I don't know why I did that with my hand.
Yeah,
Like I threw it at you. It was kind of weird too. I did like this, and like I threw my chin.
I'll be Max Jones to me has really caught my attention. IMG, he was offered by A&M as a freshman when he was at Louisville High School in the Metroplex. So he big 6'3.5", 6'4", 330 pounds, barrel-chested dude, interior offensive line prospect, can play anywhere from right, left guard to center, and he is just nasty. He's I've seen it a few times. He wows with the eyeball test,
right?
And he's a guy. He got it done during drills. Excellent footwork, and he just a real easy mover, especially for a big guy. A lot of flexibility and being there. He's one of the nation's best for a reason. And you can expect him to be one of the top interior linemen. I bet A&M is going to be right there in the mix for him over the course of his process. We've got interviews with all of those guys where they talk about the experience and Coach Cushing and all that as well. But Chance Archangel was there putting on a show. Zyron Forstall was there. He only did drill work, and then they're like, "Yeah, you're good. Don't worry about it."
Jason, all right, so a month from now, 4th of July weekend, let's just say, what's going to be the biggest recruiting story surrounding A&M?
Well, the biggest. Well, it depends on who hasn't made their announcement. But I think you're looking at just really how good can this class really be? Can it beat out that 22 recruiting class as far as your total points, and your average star ranking? How many 5-stars can be in the class? And I think you're looking at one of the big storylines being it's pretty much done. We got pretty much everybody we want.
Now keep them.
Now hold on to them. Yeah, take care of business on the field and continue to show you're doing you're doing your thing out there. You're producing, you're developing, you're playing the game of football at a high level and competing in the SEC.
Jason, great stuff, buddy. Thank you. We'll see you next week here in the studio.
Always.
All right, we'll hit a break here. When we come back on TexAgs Live, Kendall Rogers will be joining us. We'll talk to him about A&M's offseason plans and the biggest storylines remaining in the NCAA tournament as the Super Regionals are set to begin. Right now, a moment for Caldwell Country Chevrolet. Highway 21 in Caldwell, online at caldwellcountrychevrolet.com. It's the place to go when you're looking for a new vehicle. So you got a kid that's about to start driving, check out Caldwell Country Chevrolet. Maybe you give them your older car and you get yourself a new car. Maybe you want to do a trade-in. They have great trade-in value. Maybe you just like free oil change for life. If you buy a car from Caldwell Country Chevrolet, that's what you get as long as you own that car from Caldwell Country Chevrolet. Great selection of vehicles, great people, great service. You name it, you get it there. And remember, it's not a far drive. We're talking 15 minutes, the edge of Bryan to the beginnings of Caldwell. A short conversation away, but you'll see the difference when you step on the lot and do business with the great people at Caldwell Country Chevrolet. Highway 21 in Caldwell, online, caldwellcountrychevrolet.com. And we're back. It's TexAgs Live. Let's go straight to the Bubby's Catering and Bartending Hotline. Kendall Rogers, D1Baseball, our friend, joining the program to talk about A&M's baseball season coming to a close, the change at pitching coach, and we can talk about the rest of the field. Kendall, what up, buddy?
Hey, how's it going?
Good, good. So I guess we'll start off with the Jason Kelly news. Nobody's surprised, right? Like, this was kind of trending in this direction, it feels like, for quite a while.
Yeah, it has been, and frankly, you can pinpoint the Aiden Sims injury is obviously a big development for A&M. But I think if you just look at the overall progress of the pitching staff, it just wasn't there. I mean, for an A&M team in a league like they're in, with the resources they have, to struggle as much as they did on the pitching side of things this year, frankly, was pretty unacceptable. So yeah, I mean, I think Mike is made the right move here.
Talking to Kendall Rogers here on TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. All right, so what kind of direction do you think they go?
Yeah, it'll be really interesting. I mean, there's some guys out there that are kind of top of mind. I mean, frankly, for me, if I was looking for a new pitching coach, I would give Frank Anderson a call. I mean, this is a guy that, is in the Giants organization right now with Tony Vitello. They're not doing very well. And he's a guy that, if you go back and look at his history as an assistant, he was at Houston. They hosted back-to-back regionals. Once he went to Tennessee, they fell off. He went to Tennessee and obviously was one of the architects of building that program up with Tony Vitello. So I don't know if that's the direction that Mike Earley would go, but that's a guy I would call. I like his overall package. I mean, it's a guy that certainly is a brilliant pitching mind. It's also a guy that has been a head coach before, so it's nice that to me to have that kind of that voice of reason in the dugout a little bit. And so that would be the direction I go. But, the popular thing now for teams is to go the professional route. You look back at, when Jim was at A&M and certainly at Texas with Max Weiner, he came from the pro ranks. And if you look across college baseball, that's kind of been the new trend, is going young and going very analytical and high-level metrics and things like that. So I'd be very curious to see what Mike ends up doing here.
How big of an offseason, and I know the answer is it's a big offseason, but how big is it for Coach Earley not only get this hire right, but to figure out some of the offense that is leaving to bring in some new talent there?
Yeah, it is a very, very busy offseason for A&M. I mean, honestly, if you look at the number of things that they have to do this offseason, it's pretty abundant. I mean, you think about the offensive side of things, you got to like the foundation you have with, Partita, Wilson, Kellner, et cetera, coming back. But, I mean, you're losing Sorrell, Grahovic, Hakopian. And then you look at the pitching side of things. I mean, you're hiring a new pitching coach. You've got to retool the entire pitching staff. You're probably not keeping a lot of these arms. But yet you go look at the portal right now, and the number of really good arms in the portal is extremely small. So I'll be very interested to see, does A&M get creative? Kind of like if you go look at Kansas right now, they're a super regional team. But if you go look at Kansas and the job that they've done with their player acquisition, they've gone very JUCO heavy. So what I'm very curious to see is if the portal does not heat up from a pitching perspective, do you see A&M kind of go old school a little bit and try to fill in some of these gaps with some, rising premium JUCO arms? And so that's a lot on your plate. And you're talking about new pitching coach, retool the offense, and you basically just have to, overload the pitching staff. The one good piece of news, and I get it's kind of bittersweet because you end up losing the regional because of it, but the fact that Aiden Sims does not need surgery, I think, is a very big development. You kind of go into next year with a bona fide number one guy. And there are a lot of teams in college baseball who will go into next year and don't really know who their number one guy is. A&M will know.
Kendall, how do you evaluate A&M's season? Was it a successful season in your eyes, even though it ended at your home regional?
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, I think after last year, I think our expectations were relatively low. Granted, I think we had A&M ranked 24th in the country going into the season. But I think, expectations, were not to be a regional host. I kind of had them as like a 2 seed somewhere. So to be a regional host, and again, I kind of go back to, when they lost Aiden Sims. I mean, if you look at the team as a whole, like what happens if Aiden Sims doesn't get hurt, right? Because, it was at the very end of the season. You go into that regional and, instead of just, having a hodgepodge of arms, you're pitching Aiden Sims on a Saturday in that regional. Weston Moss is throwing, Weston Moss, a guy that's super hard-nosed and has been money all year, is throwing that Sunday game, and it's not, it's not guys down the line. So I think given that late season injury, I mean, let's not forget, Josh Stewart, projected closer, out for the year. David Ramirez, a guy that's going to be a instant impact freshman, out for the year. So, I mean, you think about all these different injuries and the fact that this team still did what they did and hosted a regional, I would call it a successful season. Great season? Absolutely not, but successful, yes.
What was it about USC? I mean, they had the hiccup, and then they were just on fire. How much of it was about USC? How much of it was A&M's big guys not delivering when they needed to?
Yeah, I mean, first on A&M, I mean, to have Gavin Grahovic, Caden Terrell, and Chris Akopian go combined to 1 for 11 in that final game, I mean, I don't care who you're playing, you're probably not winning no matter what with those guys doing that. Especially, the other kind of iffy thing down the stretch was, Kellner wasn't really the same after his injury. Partita coming back from injury wasn't real sharp, and that's to be expected, right? He's going to have cobwebs. And then Jordan Wilson, he's a feast or famine guy, man. When it's good, it's really good, but it was not very good down the stretch. So you got those three guys going 1 for 11. You have your three freshmen not really hitting. Where's the production going to come from? So that did really surprise me. I thought this was an offense that, especially after that Saturday game, I didn't think they looked sharp against Lamar, but I thought after Saturday, going to Sunday red hot, the vibes were not immaculate with A&M going into Sunday. I didn't think they looked like a super confident team. But on the flip side, Nuño, I do think USC looks really good right now. This is a club that throughout the season, they were not a very offensive team. But down the stretch, they've gotten better offensively. And I tell you what, if they're going to hit, 350 as a team this weekend in Chapel Hill, as you saw, I mean, they have the arms to win that thing. USC is a team that if they can get through this weekend, they are absolutely set up great in Omaha because Gavell and Mason Edwards are two of the best pitchers in college baseball on Friday and Saturday nights.
All right, so let's talk about a couple of those Big Ten teams here. You got Oregon surprising folks, USC surprising folks. Who's got the biggest chance to move on, in your opinion?
Yeah, I think I actually go with USC. I think Oregon actually, I might have to go Oregon because I picked Oregon to go to Omaha. But so I'll say Oregon just because, like USC, they have really pitched well down the stretch. Will Stanford's been awesome for them. And I also think Oregon, you remember back to that Super in College Station, people look at their offensive numbers and go, oh, man, they, over the weekend, they didn't do anything offensively. But let's not forget, it's Oregon. It was about 60 degrees. It was cool. It was kind of, misty and windy. They go down here to the Lone Star State. It heats up. The ball's flying out. And they're a different offense. They're a very physical offense. They're just more physical when they get away from home. So I think Oregon is super scary for Texas this weekend. And then it would not surprise me if USC take 2 or 3 from UNC. I actually had A&M beating UNC even without Aiden Sims.
Kendall, what about some of these top seeds gone? UCLA gone, Georgia Tech gone. There were a lot of upsets in this regional.
Yeah, it's one of those things that, if you're an A&M fan, you don't want solace, but it's like, at least you're not UCLA and Georgia Tech. I mean, UCLA did not lose a weekend series all year long, and they don't even get to the regional championship game. Georgia Tech, I actually, feel like that was more surprising that they lost. I didn't feel like Oklahoma was very good for pretty much the second half of the season, and to lose the way they did with a walk-off home run, that team looked like they were unbeatable for the last 2 months. And just like that, like a snap of a finger, their season's over. So, college baseball, it's an awesome game, but boy, it can be really cruel because it can be over like that. But it is cool to see the stories of, Little Rock and Troy. I mean, Skylar Meade at Troy, one of the rising coaching stars in the industry, they were left out of the field last year. They should have gotten in. This year, they were one of the last, 4 teams in the field, and now they're hosting a super regional, and they're probably the favorite. So it's kind of neat to see some of the different storylines, both positive and negative.
Kendall, great stuff, man. I appreciate you. I'm sure we'll catch up at some point during the College World Series.
You got it, buddy. We'll see you.
See you, man. Kendall Rogers there on the Buffy's Catering and Bartending Hotline. Appreciate his time here on the program. We're going to hit a break and find out, in case I missed something. Probably missed a lot of stuff because I was not on my phone very much this past weekend. I want to read this real quick before we hit a break. I thought this was interesting. NC State season opener versus Virginia located to Charlottesville. They were supposed to play in Brazil. And it says, following an extreme review with operational partners and international stakeholders, the NC State of Virginia football game, originally scheduled to be played in Brazil, will be relocated to Charlottesville, Virginia for this conference matchup. The change follows communication from Athlete Advantage, which informed the ACC and participating schools that the event could not be conducted. There's a whole lot more to it. Fans who purchase tickets or travel packages for the event to Brazil website can receive refunds. But what if you buy your own flight from you just called Southwest or United? I want to know more about that. Actually, I don't. We'll hit a break. When we come back, we'll talk about something. We're going to find out what I missed and what you missed, and I'll see if they missed something. Right now, Ground Shuttle, they offer frequent and reliable shuttles from Bryan College Station to George Bush Intercontinental Airport. So I did go to Austin for the airport this past weekend. It was, an hour 40 drive? Hey, Billy Lucci. And it took a while, but going to Bush takes forever. It may be a shorter drive, but when you go to Bush, the parking is horrendous and the traffic in Houston is worse, right? So you deal with all that and you're going to get there. You got to get there super early unless you're Billy and have VIP. But we don't. So what you should do is reach out to the good folks at Ground Shuttle because they leave right from South College Station. You get dropped off at their office or utilize their awesome parking there. Ground Shuttle runs 9 shuttle times on the weekdays every hour and a half and 5 shuttle times on the weekends every 2.5 hours. What you need to do is check out the website, groundshuttle.com. That's groundshuttle.com. Or call them up, 855-303-4415. It's Ground Shuttle. Let them do the driving. I wish I had Olin here for it because he loves energy drinks. Catalyst Citrus Spark. This is one of the new flavors out there. Whether you're grinding through workouts, cramming for a test, or closing in on a deal or getting ready for TexAgs Live, you never know, right? Fast becoming the go-to fuel for Aggies everywhere. 0 sugar, I'm all in for that. Or synthetic sweeteners, no artificial colors or flavors. Catalyst delivers clean, high-performance energy with smooth, crisp taste that is never syrupy, designed for both health and hustle. You want to get going, you use this Catalyst right here. It's about pure energy and pure results. And what sets them apart? Packed with premium nootropics blended to boost focus, clarity, and mental stamina. I need this. I'm in, guys. I'm in. Plus, with plant-based caffeine, vitamin B12, B6, Catalyst supports metabolism and energy production, making it more than a drink. It's your lifestyle training partner. Built for competitors on the field, Catalyst fuels strength, focus, and pure results. Buy now at drinkcatalyst.com. That is drinkcatalyst.com. Train harder, think sharper, pure results. It's Catalyst. Hi, friends. Welcome back into TexAgs Live. In case you missed it, I know I missed a lot of stuff. We've got Sid in studio, Kaylee in studio. Hello, ladies.
Hello.
Wait, so I saw you yesterday, but I hadn't seen you in a while before yesterday, right?
Right.
You were out doing.
I was gone for a week on a cruise. Best week of my life.
Of your life.
Of my entire life. 21 years of life.
Congrats.
Thank
Happy
you.
B-Day.
Thank you.
Dryer, I saw you a lot.
Yeah,
What's
I had
up?
to do this by myself last week. But
Yeah, way to go, Sid. Go enjoy life. What do we have?
The first thing that we have, it's been pretty prominent recently, but Jordy Fromm from Nebraska, she played in the Women's College World Series pregnant.
Whoa.
And her baby is due in December. And she also became the first player to have 20-plus wins in the circle and 20-plus home runs at the plate.
And pregnant.
Yes. So
All season
she
long.
is a
Not like
two-way
just yesterday.
player
Yeah.
And was playing basically 3 months pregnant.
Congratulations to her. If you do the math, never mind. Go ahead.
Next topic, the new College Football 27 cover dropped. It features Ole Miss running back Kewan Lacey,
He's good.
Miami wide receiver Malachi Toney, and Oregon quarterback Dante Moore. This is a huge deal for college football players. And Trinidad Chambliss was supposedly going to be featured on the cover after being voted one of the 3 finalists and potentially the favored player. But EA Sports pulled his feature after his eligibility fight with the NCAA. So that was a big loss for him.
Go back to the picture. I don't think there's any way for a coach in his 50s or 60s to look cool around a bunch of athletes.
He looks so cool.
But he looks like a scientist talking about Kurt Signetti.
Bill Nye up there.
Yeah, it's like Bill Nye and the football guys. All right, what else we got?
So Jordan Adams, who was the Angels' former outfielder, he is 26 years old, and he is now going to SMU to play football. So he went from pro baseball to now playing college.
It's happened many times before. I don't have a problem with that. I've got problems, but this has been happening for years. If they change the rule, they change the rule. But right now, that's kind of been the thing we've seen before. So I guess congratulations. 26-year-old man playing with 18-year-olds.
Crazy. I feel like that shouldn't be allowed.
Yeah.
Okay, but what about 50? That'd be a little bit more even playing field. Old man, and no.
That just doesn't make sense.
Not every 50-year-old is built the same way. All right, what do we got?
And then last topic, in Lane Kiffin fashion, he's holding an exclusive football clinic for women. July 30th, 4:30 p.m. in the LSU indoor practice facility. This is real. LSU football, posted.
I don't think he should be hosting it. You got to read the room.
But of course he would.
I mean, put that picture up again. She's having a lot of fun. Look at that. She's like, this is how you do blocking. Okay, this is fun.
It's just, I feel like it's the first one ever and probably the last one.
I'll volunteer to go. I'll go check it out
really?
for all of us. Yeah.
Why?
Just to get that.
You want
practice.
Lane to end up in your DMs? Is that what you're saying? Because that's going to happen.
Just to get that practice,
I mean, I'm trying to think. Something I'm surprised you guys didn't bring up, but everybody saw it because it was like the biggest story. The softball handshake line. You don't know what I'm talking about.
I don't.
You don't know what I'm talking
I
about.
don't think I've... Oh,
we missed
it. Yes.
You know what I'm talking about.
I missed
I have
it.
seen that.
You know what I'm talking about too? No.
No.
Taylor Pannell.
Nick, you know what I'm talking about, right?
Right? It was
Taylor Pannell. Yeah. Or Pannell or Pannell.
I think hers is Pannell and then ours was Pannell.
Somebody yelled. Which one was right? Okay. Anyway, so you got to hear the story. Maybe Kaylee can tell it better. But she transferred from from Tennessee to Texas Tech.
Okay.
She's really good, by the way. And Tennessee wins, and then the handshake line, they're like, hey, good game, good game. She says afterwards that she said that the head coach told her, you should never have transferred or something to that effect. They Zapruder film. You know what I mean by Zapruder film? Do you know who John F. Kennedy is?
Yes.
Okay. Zapruder, okay, never mind. I can explain that later. But they Zapruder filmed it. They watched it, and the head coach never said that.
Oh,
so now the question is,
lied.
did she zapruder or did somebody else say, maybe an assistant coach? Because there's an assistant coach doing this. But it was a fakey fake.
Yeah.
Zapruder.
You don't really care. So did you Zapruder? Is that what you're saying?
I don't know what that word is.
Zapruder film.
Zapruder.
All right. November 22nd, 1963. You know what happened that day?
History lessons.
That's the day John F. Kennedy was
Yes,
assassinated.
yes.
And the Zapruder film, I can't believe I'm explaining this, is like when people like slowed it down, the conspiracy theories, there was a magic bullet. And
Yeah.
I think I should probably move on because it's a sports show. Let's read one comment to close it out.
Comment, okay. There's not much going on.
I mean, just make one up, bro.
Frank Anderson would be an elite hire.
That's somebody that Kendall Rogers said, who was with the, I think he's still helping out the big leagues, but he was with Tennessee for a long time. Ladies, thank you very much.
Thank you.
I did miss every one of those stories.
Oh.
And I missed Kennedy. Forgot his first name.
You forgot?
John F. Kennedy.
What's the F stand for?
Franklin.
Try again. You'll never get it if you do 1,000 tries. Fitzgerald, believe it or not.
Fitzgerald.
Yeah.
Oh, like Warren.
Yeah. Anyway, if anybody is still watching or listening, thank you for that. I appreciate it. I don't know how we kept you. We'll see you mañana.